in Bellingham at Joe Martin Field, right before a tilt between the DubSea Fish Sticks and the Bellingham Bells. I'm Kyle Sweeney. He's Angus Trangmo. It is golden hour here at Joe Martin Field, but we are getting ready for what should be a pretty tough matchup against a team in the Bells that are at the top of the WCL.
Yeah, a really good bounce-back win last night for the Fish Sticks against the Port Angeles Lefties. They rode a great pitching performance from 4 different guys to a 5-1 victory up on the peninsula, but this is no Lefties squad. The Bells are 22-14, second in the North Division of the West Coast League, only trailing the Wenatchee Apple Sox. And today is the WCL All-Star game, so maybe not a full-strength lineup for the Bells, but still a really tough task for the Sticks.
And the Sticks, they won 5-1 yesterday against the Lefties, as you mentioned, out in Port Angeles. The Bells have a great field. This is an atmosphere that resembles a lot of the Friar, but the Fish Sticks didn't have as much success last time they were in the Friar. They dropped 2 in a row in that game before going up and defeating the Lefties yesterday. So a big bounce-back victory, but they are in the bottom of the WCL. The Bells are near the top. And if the Fish Sticks want to beat the Bells today, they'll have to ride their leadoff man, Ian Draper, who had a heck of a debut yesterday.
Yeah, first game in the lineup for Draper yesterday, and he was nothing short of stellar. 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a base hit that also drove in a run. He finished with 3 RBI of the 5 runs for the Fish Sticks last night, and he reached base all 5 times he went to the plate. 2 hits, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch. He finds himself in the leadoff spot again, and Rylan Gullard is back in the 2-hole today, which is somewhere we haven't seen him all season. So that 1-2 punch might be something to look out for the Fish Sticks.
Kai Schweitz has the rock on the mound for the Fish Sticks, the second of 3 in a row against West Coast League teams, the Bellingham Bells and the DubSea Fish Sticks. First pitch is moments after this.
Once upon a home, in a Seattle bungalow, the Huffs searched on Thumbtack to find their next pro. Now the job is all done, and the table is set. The hot dogs taste better on their fancy new deck. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Back here in Bellingham, first pitch just a couple of moments away. Here is your batting lineup for the Fish Sticks today. Ian Draper, yesterday's stick of the game, leading off once again and playing short. And then Rylan Gullard's back in the lineup. Nice to see him back at the top of the order. We usually see him hitting leadoff, but he's in the 2-hole today. Will Cooley is in right field and hitting third. And then Peyton Barsotti, Braden Bartholomew, and Noah Kung in the heart of the lineup. And then Rodrigo Montano, Tyler Eisenhut, and Isaac Watson is back in the lineup at the bottom of the order. And he is the DH for today's game, and they will be facing off against the right-hander Lathan Haywood for the Bells today.
Lathan Haywood from the Hatters down in DeLand, Florida, Stetson University, and a 6.52 ERA with the Hatters this past season. A local product from the other side of Seattle. He went to Olympic High School down in Bremerton, Washington. But Haywood for the Bells today. And like we said in the open, this is not going to be a full-strength Bells team. There's quite a few All-Stars out in Victoria for this squad, but this is still a really talented baseball team. The Fish Sticks learned their lesson with the Wenatchee Apple Sox that any West Coast League lineup can do some serious damage on any given night, and the Bells are one of the best.
So the Bells sent 5 players over to that All-Star game, including 4 players in the lineup. Jake Lyle, who's a catcher, Aspen Alexander, who's a second baseman, and then Jaden Jackson and Noah Cassie, who's been one of the best players in the entire WCL. So 4 guys that they usually see in the lineup that are not in today's lineup. And it looks like there's a little bit of confusion for the umpires. Again, another 2-man crew kind of looking to the dugout. Not sure really what's going on, but we probably have the best angle of the game today. It's a really nice box up here in Bellingham. The Bells are treating us with great hospitality, so we appreciate that. And you get the overhead angle for today's game. And again, it's a sunny one. And we are now underway as Ian Draper steps in to the box. Again, yesterday was his debut for the Fish Sticks, and boy, did he have a great debut. And he takes a look at ball 1 low. He was 2 for 2, including a 2-run home run in the second inning. And that included 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Reached all 5 times he was on base. So 1-0 now to Draper from Lathan Haywood. Here's the 1-0 that also hits the turf for ball 2.
Draper's seen a lot of balls in the past couple days, and his first at-bat yesterday, he saw a 2-0 count, then was beamed right in the back with the third pitch he saw.
Draper spent last year at UW. He's headed down to Portland this upcoming season. That one's also in the turf. It is a 3-0 count immediately to Draper. who's looking to get on base for the 6th time already as a stick and as many at-bats. Haywood, a deep breath. He comes set, delivers fastball low once again for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to start things off. And a runner is aboard with Rylan Gullard coming to the plate.
Gullard, you're usually not going to see him swing at the first pitch anyway, but right here, no reason to swing until he sees a strike. A 4-pitch walk to Draper, and you're looking for base runners if you're the Fish Sticks, because an early lead on this Bells team would be very nice.
So the Sticks come in at 17-10. The Bells are 22-14 coming into today's matchup as there's finally a strike right in the inside corner to Gullard. Gullard hitting .333 with a .402 on-base percentage this year. Got a kind of a rare day off yesterday against the lefties, but he's right back in the order. That one misses low for ball 1. So it'll be interesting to see because Ian Draper had such a fantastic debut. Obviously, he's not going to do that for the rest of the season, but it'll be interesting to see where Draper and Gullard are at the top of the lineup as the season progresses. Again, we are heading into the late stages of the season now. We're in game 28 of a 44-game season. So in the back half of the year, Draper a late addition and made his name known in last night's victory. And he's taken off for first. That ball is low for ball 2, and Draper slides in safely. What a great jump. And Draper's at second base with nobody gone.
Already an instant impact from Draper today after a huge game in Port Angeles yesterday. And now Rylan Gullard with a runner in scoring position. This is exactly what you want to see if you're the Sticks. And look at that picture of Rylan Gullard they've got on the video board here.
I know. This is
just
a great
a radiant smile.
So here's the 2-1 to Gullard. Nobody gone. And Draper at second. That one's inside for ball 3. So Draper was walked in 4 pitches. Haywood is struggling right now to find the zone here in the top of the first.
Yeah, no reason to swing 3-1, I think, if you're Gullard here. We've seen 8 pitches from Haywood. 7 of them have been balls.
Will Cooley, the future Zag, waiting on deck. Haywood delivers. That's inside for ball 4. So 2 straight walks to start out the top of the first inning. Runners on second and first now for Will Cooley.
Walks were an issue for Haywood at Stetson this past year as well. He walked 12 hitters and only struck out 8 in 19 1/3 innings. So the control is an issue for him, and it's proving to cause problems, at least on the first 2 batters of the day here in Bellingham. And if you're the Fish Sticks, I mean, this is a really good Bells team, and they're giving you an opportunity to take a lead. You got to capitalize with at least a run or 2 here.
So Matt Churchill from the University of Puget Sound, teammates with Gavin George on the Fish Sticks. He's behind the dish. He went out to have a talk with Haywood, who has walked the first 2 batters here in the top of the first inning at Joe Martin Field in Bellingham. It's Draper at second and Gullard at first. He's going to check back to Draper. Man, that was a great recovery by the shortstop Tyler Peschke to make sure that ball didn't go into center field.
That also almost hit off the lid of Ian Draper. If that bounces off his helmet and into center field, we're probably looking at runners on third and second.
So here in Bellingham, it is an all-turf field. Yesterday, we saw an all-grass field in Port Angeles. That one's in there for strike 1 to Cooley, who showed bunt. So 370 out to dead center, and then 325 down the left field line and 320 down the right field line. So any ball that reaches the outfield is going to get to the wall. Here's the 0-1. Cooley shows bunt again. This one's foul. He just bounced it right behind him for strike 2.
So now I showed bunt a couple times and behind 0-2. We've seen a couple 2-strike bunts from the Fish Sticks this year, at least bunt attempts, but I expect Cooley to be swinging away. We've only seen 6 at-bats for Cooley this year, but he's gotten hits in 3 of them.
2025 WCL champions, the Bells, and the 2025 PIL champions in the Fish Sticks squaring off here tonight as Draper is checked on once again at second base. So no 2 count now to Will Cooley. It was 2 straight walks to start off the game for Lathan Haywood. He comes set, fires in the 0-2. This one swung on and missed. That is strike 3 for Will Cooley, and there is 1 down.
It's a big bounce back from Haywood right there. Cooley not able to get the bunt down in that situation, which is a killer, especially with him showing bunt for the first 2 pitches, not just the first one. But now Peyton Barsotti up. Fish Stick still with a really good chance here.
So Barsotti Getting the start today behind the dish. It has been a revolving door with Evan Hellner, Jake Daly, and Barsotti. Hellner had a 3-hit day yesterday in Port Angeles. He was 3 for 5 and was behind the dish the entirety of the game. So one down here in the top of the first with 2 runners on. Barsotti swinging at the first pitch and fouls it down the left field line. So Barsotti heading to St. Mary's for his second year collegiately next season. Hitting 191 on the year, has 3 homers and 10 RBIs. So a big power guy looking to stay consistent in the batter's box. Here's the 0-1 off speed just outside for ball 1. It's a 1-1 count now to Barsotti.
Yeah, from up here, we're able to see the insides and outsides really well, but not really a good angle on the highs and lows. We had a good look at that one. That definitely missed just out, but that's a good take from Barsotti. That was a close pitch.
Draper at second, Rylan Gullard at first. There's one down here in the top of the first inning. Cleanup hitter Barsotti swings and misses. That was another off speed. That was way off the plate, and Barsotti is behind 1-2.
Seen a few chases from Barsotti on that exact pitch from righties this year. It's important that he recovers and at least advances the runners here with only 1 down.
1-2 now to Barsotti. Will Cooley struck out swinging his last time up. Draper dancing over at second base. Barsotti fouls it back. He'll stay alive.
That was a big lead for Draper. I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised that no Bells middle infielders went and covered the bag at all. And secondly, I'm surprised Draper didn't just stay out there and end up breaking for third.
Haywood's already checked twice at Draper at second base. Both Draper at second and Gullard walked to start out this game. And then, as I mentioned, Cooley struck out his last time up. So 1 down, 1 gone here in the top of the first. Here's the 1-2 from Haywood. Again, fouled off. Barsotti putting up a good battle.
Haywood at 17 pitches and only has recorded 1 out. And like I said, this is a good fight from Barsotti, who we've seen go down in pretty early counts a few times this year. So really good to see him stay alive. And again, it is important that he advances the runners at least here with maybe a fly ball or a ground ball.
Braden Bartholomew, who leads the team in RBIs, is on deck. The wind is blowing straight in from center field. It's going to be tough to get balls out. And Haywood's going to go check on Draper a 3rd time at second base.
Yeah, he didn't really have that big lead like he has on pitches before. So pretty easy work for Draper on second over there.
KG Hattori at second base came in. Here's another 1-2. Lathan Haywood trying to strike out Peyton Barsotti. Barsotti lifts this to left field. That's going to get down the left field line. That should be extra bases for Barsotti. Draper comes in to score. Gullard will stop at third base. And Peyton Barsotti, an RBI double to get the scoring kicked off here in Bellingham. The Fish Sticks lead 1-0.
Not the hardest contact you're ever going to see from Peyton Barsotti, but well placed down the left field line. And the rare double for Peyton Barsotti. We haven't seen that many doubles from him this year, but he shows off the wheels a little bit. Gullard stays at third, but the first run is on the board in Bellingham, and it's going the way of the Fish Sticks.
So 3 straight foul balls from Barsotti. Stays alive in a 1-2 count. Finally takes one down the left field line. He scores Ian Draper. He's at second base. Gullard at third now with still 1 gone. Braden Bartholomew swings and misses at strike 1. So it is 1-0 Fish Sticks off that RBI double from Barsotti here in the top of the first.
Noah Kung on deck. Kung has been swinging really well on a consistent basis ever since that first West Coast League road trip to Yakima and Wenatchee.
That's another swing and a miss from Bartholomew. He is quickly behind 0-2. So Bartholomew has 23 RBIs on the season. That's 5 more than any other stick. He also has 4 home runs, which leads the team, but he's hitting just .220. He struggled yesterday against the Port Angeles lefties. Here's the 0-2. He just takes this and pops it up to the second baseman, Hattori. That's not going to give any chance for Rylan Gullard to tag up, and there will be 2 gone.
Put it in the air, but nowhere near deep enough. And that one stays in the infield. That brings up Noah Kung in a big spot, but Kung's thing is base hits, base hits, base hits. And you're not going to see too many extra base hits out of him. If they are, it'll be shot down the line. Not really into hitting down the power alleys, but a base hit would be huge here.
Swings and misses at strike one from Haywood. So Kung hitting 298 on the summer. He, at one point just a week ago, led the team in batting average. He was 0 for 4 yesterday and 1 for 3 on Monday against the Everett Merchants. So looking to get back on track at the dish. Here's the 0-1, taken right up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. Rylan Gullard will come in to score. Barsati held up at third. But Noah Kung gets right back on track. An RBI single to make it 2-0 here in the top of the first.
Base hits, base hits, base hits. That's what Noah Kung does. That's what he's been doing all season for this team, and he does it once again right there. That is a hot shot up the middle. No chance for Haywood to make the 1-3 put out over at first base. And Barsati, I mean, not the most speed. Maybe if a fast runner's on second, he scores right there, but I think that ball was just hit too hard for Barsati's own good.
So that'll bring up Rodrigo Montano, who gets the start in left field today as that fastball from Haywood is outside for ball one. So an RBI double from Peyton Barsati and an RBI single from Noah Kung. There's first and third with 2 gone here in the top of the first, and the Sticks lead 2-0. That one again off the outside corner for ball 2 to Montano.
This would load the bases for Tyler Eisenhut. We've seen Eisenhut come through in a lot of clutch situations this year. Him, Vaughn Lowe is another guy I think of when I think about guys that have really thrived with runners in scoring position.
That one's outside for ball 3. Montano ahead 3-0. Montano, limited plate appearances this season, but he's 4 for 14, hitting 286. He was also the hero in that thrilling victory against the Studs last Thursday. As that's a zone finder for strike one from Haywood. Haywood has already walked 2 batters, the first 2 batters of the inning, in Ian Draper and Rylan Gullard, who both came around to score. So it's 2-0 Fish Sticks here in the top of the first. It's first and third with 2 gone. Here's the 3-1. That one's in there for strike 2. Noah Kung was taken off, and now he's in a pickle at second base. Barsati's hustling home to try to get the run, but Noah Kung is tagged out before Barsati can reach home plate. So no run will score. We've seen that a couple of times this summer where the guy at third base has come around to score in time. But nonetheless, a 2-0 lead here after the top of the first. The Fish Sticks leading over the Bellingham Bells.
You ever wonder how Crispy gets to the fryer for games? He uses King County Metro's Rapid Ride H-Line. King County Metro, the official commute of your DubSea Fish Sticks.
Wendy's went back to the kitchen to give our famous spicy chicken sandwich a total upgrade. More crunch, more flavor, with heat that just hits. Is this our best spicy chicken ever? Looks like a yes to me. Spicy chicken just got better at Wendy's.
They always say, think happy thoughts. It's easy when you're a Wendy's Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion. I'm an instant dopamine hit. Get it? Dopamine? Like cookie dough. I said like cookie dough! Happiness is a Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion at Wendy's.
Back here in Bellingham, the Fish Sticks with a quick 2-0 lead after the top of the first inning. So the bottom of the first we go, and we are introducing the Bellingham Bells starting lineup for today's game. Again, 4 All-Stars playing in the WCL All-Star game today. They are all missing from the lineup. This is still a strong order. Rashad Hayes leading off from Stanford. He's playing third base. KG Hattori is attending Cal Poly next year. He's playing second. Matt Churchill is in the 3-hole. He's from Puget Sound behind the dish. And then Nate Johnson, who is attending Tulane and playing first, is batting cleanup. And then Bryce Johnson from UW is batting fifth. And in right field, Bo Schinkel goes Zags. He played for the Zags last year. I got pretty familiar with him on a lot of broadcasts. He's in center field. He's a speedy guy there in the 6-hole. Dylan Moss is DHing, another Stanford guy. He's hitting 7th. Tyler Peschke from Cerritos College at short and hitting 8th, And then Romanik Kebon from Nevada is in the 9-hole slot today and in left field, and they will be facing off against Kai Twites, who's had a good start to the summer for the Sticks.
Yeah, it really has. In 10 1/3 innings this year. He's given up 3 runs, and all of those came in the first inning of his outing last Wednesday. That was a week ago down in Salem against the Merriam-Berries. And from there, he really recovered well, and the Fish Sticks ended up winning that game 5-3. And it was thanks in large part to him regrouping, getting back on the mound, and throwing 2 2/3 strong innings right after that. Twice, I mean, last time he was out, a rough first inning. Hopefully he doesn't replicate that here against the Bells. But this is a good arm. I mean, a 2.61 ERA in 10 innings of work for the Sticks.
As Rashad Hayes takes a look at strike one. Again, a Stanford guy at third base for tonight's matchup. So the Bells sporting the baby blues, and the Fish Sticks sporting the dark blue with white pants for today's matchup. Twice delivers. This one's up the middle towards shortstop, and Draper's unable to handle it. That ball took a weird bounce, and now Hayes is going to second base. There was no one covering, and he'll slide in safely. What a weird play. That was off the knob of the bat towards shortstop. Draper, it looks like, had a good read on it before the ball kind of spun to his right, and he couldn't make the play. And then Eisenhut wasn't covering second base, and Hayes had a nice heads-up play rounding first to just slide into second because it was uncovered.
Yeah, that's a play Ian Draper should make in his sleep. Obviously a tough bounce off the turf, but still right at him and just can't turn the glove in time. And then really good read by Hayes and not great coverage by the Fish Sticks gloves to just leave second base vacant. Now Hayes breaking for third.
So Hayes breaks for third because the left side of the infield for the Fish Sticks wasn't holding him on, and man, Hayes is making them pay. He's got a lot of speed, and he has been showing it off. So he is at third base already with nobody gone, and that'll bring up KG Hattori, the incoming freshman going to Cal Poly. He's hitting .302 this summer with a .351 on-base percentage. Swinging and fouls it off.
Nice play by Jaden Mizuno over there in the dugout to snag that one, but how about Rashad Hayes? I mean, he gets a gift from Draper on the error by the shortstop, and from there it's been straight wheels from him, and he finds himself 90 feet away from cutting into this Fish Sticks lead.
So Hattori down 0-2. He grounds it up the middle right back to Draper. This will score a run, but Draper makes the throw across the diamond for out number 1. So Rashad Hayes, the leadoff batter, capitalizing on a couple of mistakes from Ian Draper, and he will score, but it's still a 2-1 lead for the Fish Sticks.
And the bells ring here in Bellingham. Every time they score a run here in Bellingham, there are some pretty diehard Bells fans that bring their own cowbells to the game, and there'll be a bell over the speakers. Everyone will start ringing their bells over and over and over. It's a little annoying, but it's a really good atmosphere for the West Coast League here. It's one of the best in the entire league, probably only rivaled by the Pickles down in Portland.
So that'll bring up Matt Churchill, the incoming junior attending the University of Puget Sound down in Tacoma. He swings and misses after ball 1. So a 1-1 count now to Churchill. He stands at 6'5". He's a big guy behind the dish, and he's hitting in the 3-hole today. So a 2-1 lead for the Fish Sticks here in the bottom of the first. It was an RBI ground out from KG Hattori that scored Rashad Hayes to open the scoring for the Bells.
Also a nice reunion between Churchill and the Fish Sticks. Churchill was part of that championship team last year in DubSea in 2025, actually won PIL MVP. So this is a guy that was an integral part of that Fish Sticks team that brought home the first PIL title last year. And, you know, it's good for him to see Mark Lynn and Garrett and all the guys from the Sticks last year, Rylan Gullard, a few other guys that returned from last year's team, but a familiar face for Sticks fans for sure.
He's hitting .295 with a .417 on-base percentage on the year. He also has 2 long balls and 13 RBIs. 2-2 count now to Churchill. That one's off the plate. The count will fill up.
Twice hasn't done much wrong. I mean, forced 2 grounders right at Draper over at short. One of them turned into an out, but one of them has already come around for a run with the Bells not even needing a ball going past 10 feet to score a run today.
That one's fouled back, so Churchill will stay alive in the count. Again, a ground ball right to Draper that kind of spun weird on the turf. He mishandled it, and Rashad Hayes legged it out second base. He would then steal third on the next pitch and then come around to score on a ground out from KG Hattori. It is 2-1 Sticks here in the bottom of the first. Here's the 3-2. I think that actually caught a piece of Churchill, and it did. That'll go down as a hit by a pitch, and he'll be at first with one gone.
Still no hits for the Bells through 3 hitters, and they've got a run and a runner on first. So the free passes, I mean, that's the first one of the day on the third batter. The Fish Sticks did such a good job of limiting those yesterday. It's a reason they only gave up 1 run and ended up winning pretty decisively in Port Angeles last night. But it's hard to forget Saturday and Monday when they gave up 11 and 10, respectively, in 2 close losses.
That was a number that we have been tracking on the road trip this week. Again, just 2 yesterday in that 5-1 win. It was one of the most impressive performances from the pitching staff this year. This one's popped up towards left field, but out of play by Nate Johnson. He'll be behind 0-1. Johnson attending Tulane and playing at first base today. Nate Johnson, who's hitting cleanup, and Bryce Johnson, who is hitting next in the 5-hole, are not related. We had to make sure of that. But Nate Johnson hitting .276 with a .417 on-base percentage this season.
Yeah, this Bells lineup, it reminds me of the Apple Sox in a sense where just every guy's got really good numbers. And, you know, there's a reason this team won the league last year and is a contender for the league this year. Again, it's because this atmosphere is so good for a summer ball team. And these fans come out. I mean, it's a Wednesday against a PIL team in the Fish Sticks, and they're still coming out in droves.
So Twice tried to pick off Churchill at first. That got past Braden Bartholomew at first base, and Churchill will take his bag at second. So 0-2 count now to Nate Johnson with 1 gone. That'll go down as an E1. And Churchill is in scoring position. So an opportunity to tie things up here in the bottom of the first after the Fish Sticks plated 2 runs in the top half of the inning. Twice delivers the 0-2. That one's inside for ball 1.
2 errors is not what you wanted to see from the Fish Sticks here in the first inning. One of them is on Twice, so can't really blame the fielders for that if the run does come home against Twice, but still, 2 errors in 1 out is just not really a formula for success, especially against a team like the Bells.
So Nate Johnson pops this up to Mars over to center field. Rylan Gullard's got it. He had to camp under that one for a while, but that'll be out number 2. So Kai Twice wins the battle at the plate with Nate Johnson. There's two gone, and Churchill at second base.
That brings up Bryce Johnson from Lewis and Clark State in Lewiston, Idaho. And you want to talk about an NAIA powerhouse. Lewis and Clark State, near the top of the ranks in NAIA baseball every year. And they actually host the NAIA World Series every year. It's like the Omaha of NAIA baseball.
Bryce Johnson, sporting no batting gloves. He swings and fouls off strike 1. Also spent time at UW with the Huskies. He's hitting .283 this summer with a .356 on-base percentage. Twice ahead, 0-1. Churchill at second base after a hit by pitch and then a pickoff error from Twice. It's 2-1 Sticks here in the bottom of the first. That off-speed tails outside. It's a 1-1 count.
Yeah, righty on righty, you're going to see a lot of that breaking stuff from Kai Twice, and that's what's worked for him this year. He's really good at setting that up, maybe even better than anyone else in this staff at setting up pitches like that.
So the 1 run in is unearned after an error from Ian Draper at short. That one's also outside. It's a 2-1 count. Been an interesting first inning between the Sticks and the Bells. Again, the Sticks, the 2025 PIL champs, and the Bells, the 2025 WCL champs. And once again, near the tops of the standings with a 22-14 record. This one's grounded over to Noah Kung. He's going to try to hop it. He can't get it. And Bryce Johnson will go to first. It was a short hop and a tough play for Kung at third base. He couldn't make the grab off the turf. And now runners on first and third. That one's going to be ruled an infield single, but still a mistake on Kung's part.
It was a mistake, but that is a very tough play to make if you're Noah Kung in that corner. Almost impossible, especially with Bryce Johnson just burling down the line over to first base, and Kung just keeps it in front of him and keeps the runner at third. But 2 errors and then an infield single that bounces off Kung's wrist. Not the ideal inning in the field for the Sticks.
Bo Schinkel, first pitch swinging out to center field. Rylan Gollard makes the long run and slides to make the grab for out number 3. That'll save a run. Nice play by Rylan Gollard to get the zag Bo Schinkel out, and that'll end the inning. So a 2-1 lead for the Sticks after a pretty eventful first. We'll go to the top of the second, and the Sticks leading.
Rylan Gollard, I mean, you have 2 errors and an infield single that goes off Noah Kung's glove in that inning, and that was looking like it might get down out in center field, but Rylan Gollard slides in. He's so smooth with that forward slide. That's a tough play out there, and he's able to do it both directions. We've seen it both directions this season, and he makes that look easy for out number 3. Sticks out in front.
So Rodrigo Montano will come back to the plate. He was up in a 3-1 count in the top of the first before Noah Kung was gunned down in a pickle situation at second base. So Montano, Eisenhut, and Watson, 7, 8, 9 due up for the Sticks.
This is an interesting 7-8-9 today. We've got Montano and Eisenhut, 2 guys that have impressed, I think, both of us in their plate appearances, but both find themselves under 300. And then Isaac Watson, who would tell you himself just hasn't had the best summer at the plate. He's got 3 hits on the year, but a big game in his last work on the field. That was on Saturday against the Honkers. He only had 1 official at-bat, and it was a 2-run homer to left field at the Friar. So Watson swung the bat well in his last work, and he's in the 9-hole today. It might be a good setup for Ian Draper and Rylan Gollard at the top of the lineup. Also the first time we haven't seen Alex Amata in that 9 spot in quite a while.
So Lathan Haywood back out for his second inning of work. It was kind of a weird start for Haywood. He walked the first 2 batters of the inning, Ian Draper and Rylan Gollard, who would both come around to score. And again, the 3rd out of the inning was made on the base paths when Noah Kung stole second in a 1st and 3rd situation, realized he was going to be gunned down, and decided to force a pickle, try to get Peyton Barsotti to cross home before he was tagged out, which Barsotti did not do. So it's a 2-0 lead for the Sticks. Montano is back in the batter's box for a 2nd straight inning. And that's outside for ball 1. Montano was ahead 3-0 in the count, then got a strike. And then another strike down the heart of the zone. It would have been a full count, but Noah Kung was tagged out. He's swinging and fouls it off. So 1-1 count now to Rodrigo Montano.
It's always weird to come up after coming up for the first time the inning before, and you kind of just have to have a fresh start. You can almost think about this as the 2nd time Montano has faced Haywood today.
That one's outside. It is now a 2-1 count to Montano. Again, an incoming freshman going to the Colorado School of Mines in the fall. 2-way guy on this team. As that one's outside for ball 3. So 3-1 count now to Montano, leading off the top of the 2nd inning with the Fish Sticks holding a 2-1 lead. Haywood comes set, delivers right on the inside corner for strike 2. So technically the 2nd straight 3-2 for Montano in as many innings. Haywood clicked to the plate and fires it into the turf for ball 4. So Montano, the leadoff man, is aboard here in the top of the 2nd.
It's another leadoff walk for Haywood today, and that's just not a recipe for success on the mound. And Fish Sticks were able to capitalize in that 1st inning, ended up plating both of the 2 runs that reached on the first 2 walks of the game. Man, look at that picture of Tyler
I know. I don't know where the Bells got these headshots from, but some of them are at least a couple of years old, including this one from Tyler Eisenhut out in center field. I'm not sure you can catch it on the stream.
You can kind of see it. That hair is amazing.
Eisenhut, first pitch swinging, line drive to short. Tyler Peschke just knocks it down, and Eisenhut beats it out. So a hard line drive. Now we've seen a couple of mistakes from both sides at the shortstop position today. That will go down as a hit for Eisenhut. So runners on 2nd and 1st and nobody gone. The exact same scenario as the top of the 1st, now here in the top of the 2nd.
Yeah, and Eisenhut legs that out. Doesn't really give Peschke a chance to make that play once he mishandles it at first. And like I said, exact same situation. And this Bells lineup isn't going to stop scoring runs today, I don't think. So Fish Sticks are going to need to take advantage of any runners they get.
Eisenhut at first. Watson pops it up on a bunt. It completely fooled the catcher, Churchill. Man, that was weird. So Watson bunted and went straight up in the air. I thought Churchill was actually going to catch it. And so Rodrigo Montano thought the same thing. He stayed at second base. And then Churchill let it drop, and then it spun. It had a ton of backspin on it. Spun behind Churchill, but Churchill recovered and gunned down Montano for the force out at third base. I mean, I don't know what is going on right now, but that is how the first out of the inning is recorded. And there's one down with runners on second and first.
That'll go down as the classic 2-5 fielder's choice over at third.
So back to the top of the order with Ian Draper, who has reached base all 6 times he has come to the plate now as a stick. He was 2 for 2 with 2 walks and a hit by pitch yesterday, and was walked to start off this game in the top of the first. Another off speed. This one's taken back to Peschke at short. Gets the lead runner at second and turns 2 at first. So Draper finally retired this summer. He grounds into an ending double play, but it is still 2-1 Fish Sticks here in Bellingham going to the bottom of the second.
For over 15 years, As You Wish Electric has offered the comprehensive electrical solutions Seattle families trust. We are proud to announce that we can now also serve your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. As we grow, we are committed to delivering the same knowledgeable and friendly experience that earned our spot as the region's top-rated electrical company. Contact As You Wish Electric, Plumbing, Heating, and Air today to learn more.
Oh, Audrey, look over there.
Where? Oh, a whole herd of reindeer beers.
Not herds, Audrey. Rainier's come in 6-packs.
Oh.
Wake up, Harley.
Harley, look at the reindeers. Oh, they're just so fresh and friendly.
Once upon a home, in a Seattle bungalow, the Huffs searched on Thumbtack to find their next pro. Now the job is all done, and the table is set. The hot dogs taste better on their fancy new deck. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Back here in Bellingham at Joe Martin Field, it is starting to cool off here in Bellingham. Kyle Sweeney and Angus Tringmo with you now in the bottom of the second inning in a non-league matchup between the Fish Sticks and the Bellingham Bells. No runs come across in the top of the second for the Fish Sticks, who hold a 2-1 lead now in the bottom half of the inning. Kai Twites back on the mound. He's going to face 7, 8, 9 for the Bells.
Both teams get through 6 hitters in the first inning, and Twites didn't do too much wrong. 2 errors from his defense, and then the 1 hit didn't even leave the infield. It was an infield single on a really tough play over to third that Noah Kuhn couldn't quite make.
So Dylan Moss, another Stanford guy in this lineup. He's the DH today. He fouls that back for strike 1. Incoming freshman to Stanford as well. Here's the 0-1 from Twites, fouled off once again, and Moss is behind 0-2.
We saw Twites give up 3 in the first inning against the Berries, and then he bounced back really well and went 2 more scoreless full innings in that game. And today he gives up 1. It's unearned, but he gives up 1 in the bottom of the first inning to the Bells. And I think we can both expect him to bounce back because he's been so good this summer.
Here's the 0-2. That's upstairs in the zone for ball 1. Moss, this is his 28th game of the summer. He's hitting .256 with a .382 on base percentage. He's behind 1-2 now to Kai Twites. Twites delivers that off speed. It hits the plate for ball 2.
Wind has really died down as well. It was blowing directly in from center field during the national anthem. And now here in the bottom of the second, the American flag and the Canadian flag out there in center field are just stoic.
not far from the Canadian border here in Bellingham. Another foul ball from Dylan Moss. He'll stay alive in the count. So 2-2 to Dylan Moss, who's leading off the bottom of the second inning. Tyler Peschke, the shortstop who just turned the double play to end the top of the second, is on deck. 2-1 Sticks here in the bottom of the second. It's a 2-2 count to Dylan Moss. Twice delivers right on the outside corner. Called strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Kai Twites, and there's one gone here in the bottom of the second.
Paint. Kai Twites absolutely paints that on the outside third, and it freezes Dylan Moss. We hadn't seen a swing and miss from Moss on 3 swings in that at-bat, so it almost felt like it would have to be a backwards K on him, and Twites does just that.
So Peschke spent last year at Cerritos College. He is now committed to play at UCLA next season, who was the #1 seed in the tournament last year. They were 51-9, I believe, before getting bounced in the first round. 2 losses to St. Mary's, Peyton Barsotti and Cole Nuffer, St. Mary's, in that one. So a heck of a ball player. He's at short and hitting 8th. He looks that one inside for ball 2.
If you're Twites, you can't fall behind in too many counts against this team because they're going to make you pay. They have been making the West Coast League pay all year.
2-0 count now with 1 gone here in the bottom of the second. Twites delivers an off speed. That one curls away for ball 3. 2 runs in the top of the first by the Sticks, followed up by 1 in the bottom half of the inning. It is 2-1 here in the bottom of the second. Twites delivers the 3-0. That one does find the zone just barely for strike 1.
3-1. I feel like Peschke's probably not going to offer anything here. Obviously, you can expect one in the zone on a 3-0 count, but hasn't really seen anything to hit from Twites, and he goes after that one.
Grounded over to Noah Kung, makes the long throw. Bartholomew hops up to grab it, and that is out number 2. So Kung gets revenge there after kind of messing up on a play back in the first inning. He makes a nice toss over to Braden Bartholomew for out number 2.
High chopper off the turf. We see a lot of those in White Center at Mel Olson Stadium, and Kung knows how to play him on those on that left side of the infield. Only the second time we've seen him at the hot corner this year, but handles that with ease, and it's 2 down here in the second. And we need to have a chat about this name.
We do. This is Romanik Kebon, who is coming up to the plate. He spent last year at Nevada. He's going to UW this year. He's hitting 9-hole, and I believe, well, after this 0-1 pitch from Twites, that is outside, so it's a 1-1 count. I believe we might be inducting our 5th member into the first team all-name lineup this summer. I vote yes.
I am absolutely in.
Let's
on
go.
Romanik Kebon.
There we go. Congratulations to Romanik Kebon, who is now the 5th member of our first team all-name squad.
He joins a very illustrious list of Cash Aguilar, Deverson Villalobos, who is our MVP
still
this season, Atticus Stanfield, who
our very own
Atticus Stanfield, and then who's the other one?
The 2-1 is out to center field. Rylan Gollard's going to take a look. Rodrigo Montano will call him off, and that'll be out number 3. So it is 2-1 going into the top of the third. The Fish Sticks holding on to a lead. That was a 1-2-3 inning. For Kai
Indy
Twites.
Anderson.
Yes,
Indy Anderson
that's
from the
who I
Redmond
was-
Dudes, yeah.
So there we go. Cash Aguilar, Deverson Villalobos, the MVP, and then our very own Atticus Stanfield, and then Indy Anderson of the Redmond Dudes, who we're going to see for a 5th time this season. No, a 6th time this season.
Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday. And now congratulations to Romanik Kebon. What a name.
We're building quite the squad.
We are. We still have 4 more spots to go, and I'm not exactly sure how many more teams we face this year that are unique. Actually, let me take a look to make sure.
We're running out of originals.
We are running out
sure.
of teams that we've already faced, or we haven't already faced. So let's take a look at the schedule. So today is the last of 3 straight road games for the Sticks this week before 3 straight home games this weekend. So the Marion Berries come up tomorrow in the Friar, and then the Redmond Dudes, as we mentioned, on Friday, the Northwest Honkers on Saturday. All those games will be at the Friar and then down to the Studs. So no, we do not face a unique team the rest of the season. This is the last squad that the Sticks have not faced this year.
Interesting.
So
okay.
we're gonna have to change it up. We have our first 5. Now we're gonna have to go back to a couple of guys to round out the list.
We definitely are, and we've got some work to do. I mean, we've got a basketball team.
We do have a starting 5.
We do not have a baseball team, and this is famously comprised of baseball players.
Yeah.
So we should probably finish up with 9.
We'll get to that when the time comes.
I just can't get over that picture of Rylan Gullard they have on the scoreboard.
So Rylan Gullard's picture is probably taken about 3 years ago, and he is just cheesing out there in left field on the scoreboard, and he takes a look at strike 1 just on the outside corner. So it's Gullard, Cooley, and Peyton Barsotti due up here in the top of the 3rd with the Sticks leading 2-1. Another off speed that fools Gullard. He swings through for strike 2.
Gullard leading off here, which is where he's found himself basically all season before today.
Another off speed. Gullard takes this up the middle, and that'll get through for a base hit. A nice piece of hitting for Gullard, who stays patient on the off speed and just sends the hard ground ball right up the middle. So for a 3rd straight inning, the leadoff man is aboard for the Sticks.
Such a good 2-strike hitter. I say it every time he gets into a 2-strike count, which is quite often, but such a comfortable hitter with 2 strikes. You see a lot of guys that chase outside or inside or wherever it is with 2 strikes and try to do too much. Gullard is not one of those guys. He'll just take any pitch in the zone and do what he needs to do for a base hit.
So Will Cooley steps into the box, the lefty committed to play at Gonzaga next year. He takes a look at strike 1. So Gullard is aboard. He's got 12 stolen bases on the year. That leads the team as Lathan Haywood checks on him over at first base. And Cooley struck out swinging back in the 1st. That's the only strikeout through the first part of the lineup for Lathan Haywood, who's going to check back once again to Gullard. Nobody else on the team has more than 5 stolen bases except for Gullard, who's at 12. He takes another healthy lead at first. He'll stay put. Swing and a miss for strike 2 from Cooley. He's behind 0-2.
Yeah, usually righty on lefty, you're not going to see a lot of chases inside, but that time enough run from Haywood, and it forces the swing. Don't be surprised if Gullard breaks at some point here.
Another check over at Gullard, who slides in safely. He has been picked off a couple of times this year. This is just the 4th game of the summer for Will Cooley, another late addition to this squad. He was 3 for 8 coming into the game. Here's the 0-2 just outside for ball 1. So 1 balls and 2 strikes to Will Cooley. Rylan Gullard, a leadoff single to start the top of the 3rd. Here's the 1-2 up the middle, coming in at center field and making the grab is Bo Schinkel for out number 1.
Schinkel playing pretty shallow out there in center field, and it pays off. Not too long of a run for him, who, I mean, obviously you know he has a lot of speed, so that's an easy play for him. But now 1 down, and Peyton Barsotti, who didn't get the greatest Barsotti charge into a ball last time up, but still a 1-run double in the 1st.
A double with runners on 2nd and 1st to start off the scoring in this game. Haywood checks once again at first to Rylan Gullard. That's the 4th time he's done that since Gullard has gotten to first base. So Barsotti plated Ian Draper, who had a leadoff walk back in the top of the 1st, with the double down the left field line.
There it goes.
There goes Rylan Gullard. It was a hit and run, and Barsotti was out in front of an off speed and sent it behind him for a foul ball. That was actually the first time that Rylan Gullard had taken off. So he's back to first base. It's a 0-1 count now to Barsotti, the St. Mary's Gale. Gullard will stay put. That one's off the plate for ball 1.
Those outside takes, especially when Barsotti is facing righty arms, are really good for him because he is a much better hitter when he's ahead in counts than when he's in 2-strike counts.
1-1 with 1 gone here in the top of the 3rd. Gullard stays put again. That one's outside for ball 2. Barsotti had his 3rd double of the season back in the first, also his 11th RBI of the campaign when he scored Draper from second base. Gullard takes off again, another hit and run. This one's floated into right field, and that'll get down for a base hit. Gullard had the momentum going, and he's going to get to third with ease. So the second hit of the night already for Peyton Barsotti, and it's first and third with one gone here in the top of the third.
Barsotti's heart probably sunk when that ball went off the bat, because that's the last thing you should do on a hit and run is put a ball in the air into the outfield. And it just finds green grass out there, and obviously a good jump for Gullard. He was stealing second base, so he's in safely to third. And the Fish Sticks, for the 3rd straight inning, threatening with runners in scoring position.
Already have a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. That'll bring up Braden Bartholomew. He shows bunt. This one goes down the first base line, and good heads-up play from Nate Johnson to just let that tail foul. That would have scored Gullard. So no 1 count now to Bartholomew.
Obviously, the Fish Sticks love to bunt. This has been a trend since opening night, but I think more so in the past couple games than they have in the games leading up to that. They're playing that small ball. We already saw Isaac Watson try and lay down a bunt that turned into a fielder's choice in this game.
Haywood checks over at Barsotti. Barsotti, to put it nicely, not the speediest guy on the team. He's 6'3", 245. He's a big guy. But it is a first and third situation. He'll stay put. This one's going to short. It could be 2. Gets the player at second and gets Bartholomew at first. It was a tight play.
No. Oh,
but
man.
a 6-4-3 double play ends the inning and keeps the Fish Sticks scoreless. Me and Angus both do not like the call, but it is 2-1 going into the bottom of the third here in Bellingham.
Wendy's went back to the kitchen to give our famous spicy chicken sandwich a total upgrade. More crunch, more flavor, with heat that just hits. Is this our best spicy chicken ever? Looks like a yes to me. Spicy chicken just got better at Wendy's.
They always say, think happy thoughts. It's easy when you're a Wendy's Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion. I'm an instant dopamine hit. Get it? Dope-amine? Like cookie dough. I said like cookie dough! Happiness is a Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion at Wendy's.
Once upon a home in the Issaquah Highlands, the Parkers used Thumbtack for a new kitchen island. Now the pizza is cooking and the kids are excited. Thank goodness for Thumbtack and all it provided. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Back here for the bottom of the third inning in Bellingham at Joe Martin Field. Kyle Sweeney and Angus Trangmo with you once again here on the Fish Sticks Network. An inning-ending double play for the 2nd straight inning for the Fish Sticks, this time from Braden Bartholomew. Keeps the Sticks scoreless, but they still have a 2-1 lead now here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and Twites, I mean, it's a lot of parallels between the past 2 starts for Kai Twites. Lets up a run in the first inning today, let up 3 down in Salem in his first inning of work, and then a 1-2-3 inning in the second. Great bounce back from him. Now he's got to face the top of the order once again, and that does mean he will face Rashawn Hayes. He forced a ground ball on Hayes, but an error, and then a really good base running decision followed by steal, and that turned into the lone run for the Bells today.
The only 2 base runners have been Rashad Hayes, who reached on an error from Draper at short and would come around to score, and then a hit by pitch of Matt Churchill, and then it was called a single from Bryce Johnson, but Noah Kuhn could have made a play over at third. It would have been a tough one at that. So not a lot of hard contact on Kai Twites through the first time through the order. And Hayes, the speedster third baseman attending Stanford, will step to the plate. So the top part of the lineup due up. It'll be Hayes, Hattori, and Matt Churchill. Hayes, first pitch swinging. He unloads it, but it will go foul, and that ball would have gotten out if it had stayed fair.
Yeah, if it was straight to the pole and was straightened out, it might be hitting those cars over there past the net in left field. So he sees Kai Twites on the first pitch, but just a little too excited.
Twites delivers the 0-1 off speed, just misses the plate for ball 1. There's a pretty good Stanford to Bells pipeline. The Bells have just accrued a ton of talent from Stanford over the last couple of years. Here's the 1-1, another off speed that tails outside for ball 2.
Stanford's not a bad school to have a pipeline to as well.
It is not. A lot of California kids on this Bells team. Here's the 2-1. This one's taken the opposite way. Cooley's going to have to make a long run. It bounces and one hops the wall. Cooley couldn't make the grab. He fires it in to Tyler Eisenhut to keep Rashad Hayes at second. But a leadoff double for Hayes. He's at second base for the second straight time he's been aboard, and that is dangerous for the Sticks. He's got so much speed.
He stole third on the first pitch he was on the bases for last time up, and there wasn't even a throw from Peyton Barsati. That's how fast he is. So look for him to break as soon as possible, really, for the Bells. This is how they manufactured that first run, albeit it was on an error, and definitely better contact that time around for Hayes. But he's looking to run right here. Expect a fastball from Twites as well with Hayes on second.
Draper holding him on. First pitch swinging is foul from KG Hattori. Hattori, an RBI ground out as the second batter in the bottom of the first inning. That kicks off the scoring for the Bells and is still their lone run. It is a 2-1 lead for the Fish Sticks here in the bottom of the third inning. The speedy Rashad Hayes at second base after a leadoff double. Twites takes a look at him, then fires in. And no contact made at the plate by Hattori. The ball gets past Barsati, and once again, Hayes is at third.
We saw yesterday baseball history in Port Angeles when Noah Kung stole a base on a foul ball. That was not the same case. It was a swing from Hattori. He just swung and missed. And the ball gets by Barsati, and now Hayes just doing it himself. He finds himself at third. Hattori did bring in the run with a ground out his first time up. And that's all it takes right now in an 0-2 count.
Hattori again, an incoming freshman committed to play at Cal Poly, who's hitting north of 300 coming into this game. Twites delivers the 0-2. This will score another run, and it gets through the right side of the infield for a base hit. So Hattori is aboard. He drives in his second run of the game. Rashad Hayes touches home plate for the second time today, and we are tied up here at 2 apiece in the bottom of the third.
That just finds the gap between Tyler Eisenhut and Braden Bartholomew. Maybe on a dirt infield like the one in Port Angeles yesterday. That's a play for Bartholomew, who's a vacuum over at first base. Just moving a little too fast off the turf for either one to make a play, and it sneaks through. This game's tied.
Twites will step off the mound. That's his first earned run of the game. So 2 runs in, 1 earned for Twites now here in the bottom of the third. Saw an arm up and moving now for the Sticks in the pen. That off speed is inside for ball 1. It's a 1-0 count now to big Matt Churchill. Again, standing at 6'5", playing behind the dish. Played with the Fish Sticks last season and was the PIL MVP. So he's familiar with this team. That off speed twirls in there for strike 1.
When that Twites off-speed is working, it has more run than most of the pitches we're going to see from this Fish Sticks bullpen. And he can start it basically anywhere at the hitter, and it can break back into the zone if it's moving the right way.
Twites checks over at first to Hattori. That was a close play, but Hattori is in safely. Still nobody gone here in the bottom of the third inning. Hattori an RBI single to score Rashad Hayes for the second time, after Hayes hit a leadoff double the opposite way to right field. This one's crushed down the left field line, and it just tails foul at the last second. Bit fortunate there for Kai Twites. We saw a home run from Rashad Hayes go foul as the leadoff batter, and that would have been extra bases again. It just slips foul.
Yeah, a couple hard hit balls. Hayes did end up lacing a double to the opposite field alley out there in right center. We'll see if Churchill has the same success, but in this third inning, I mean, that first run that Twites gave up was not a product of hard contact. This has not been the same story. The third inning, the Bells are seeing Twites way better the second time through the lineup.
Here's the 1-2, another off speed, and that'll even up the count. It just dives outside. So 2-2 count, nobody gone. Hattori at first, and it's a 2-2 ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Twites delivers the 2-2, just fouled back. Churchill caught a piece at the last moment. 2025 PIL champions, the Fish Sticks, facing off against the 2025 WCL champs in the Bellingham Bells. Beautiful night at the ballpark here at Joe Martin Field. The 2-2 in the turf. Good job by Barsotti to keep it in front of him, and the count will fill up.
There are going to be some funny hops on balls in the turf today, and that's because the batter's boxes here in Bellingham, there are craters in that front foot hole on both the right side and left side batter's box. That's exactly where that ball hit, and you could see some unpredictability when the ball bounces off those areas today.
The 3-2 delivered inside for ball 4. I don't think Churchill realizes that's ball 4 yet. He is still in the batter's box. And now the home plate umpire tells him, and he will take his base. So now runners on first and second with nobody gone here in the bottom of the third. A run has already come across, and Garrett DeGallier is going to come out and talk to Twites on the mound.
Really good fight between Twites and Churchill right there, and Churchill gets the best of him. Really a talented hitter. I mean, the Fish Sticks know that very well with how he hit with the team last year at the Friar, but DeGallier comes out, and this has been a fun game so far. Both of these teams performing well in the batter's box, and a lot of people on hand as well. This is one of the better away crowds we've seen all season. Probably the best away crowd we've seen all season, I would say. It's a close contest between here and Wenatchee.
I mean, I've been to a Bells game previously before this season, and I knew that it's a great environment. Again, the stadium here at Joe Martin Field resembles that of the Friar, except it is an all-turf field, and of course the atmosphere at the Friar is just next to none. As Nate Johnson now steps to the plate, the cleanup hitter, first pitch swinging, takes this out to center field. It's deep, but Rylan Gullard's going to have a play. Hattori's going to tag up at second base. The throw is just going to go to second to keep Churchill at first from Gullard. So one gone and a first and third scenario now here in the bottom of the third for the Bells.
More hard contact here in the third for Bellingham, and that one to the deepest part of the park, or at least the deepest posted part of the park. Here in Bellingham, it's 380 out to the left side of center field, and then it shortens up to dead center. It's 370 to that flagpole you see out there, straight away center field. So that is the deepest part of Joe Martin Field, and Rylan Gullard had enough space to make that play. Now bunting with one out is Bryce Johnson.
He pushed that bunt way into the air and foul, so he's behind 0-1. Not a ton of speed at first with Churchill. And Hattori, who tagged up on the last flyout at third. There's one gone here in the bottom of the third. It's an 0-1 count to Bryce Johnson. Hattori, an RBI single to score Rashad Hayes for the second time. It's 2-2. And that one hits Bryce Johnson right in the left arm. He just kind of let it hit him. Just ate the pitch. He jogs a little gingerly over to first base, but now it's bases loaded with one out. It's danger time now for the Fish Sticks.
And you can see Johnson kind of flexing that arm, running over to first. That one hurts. It's right on the elbow. He doesn't have an elbow pad when he's up there. Maybe we'll start wearing one after that. But that brings up Schinkel, who you know very well from your time in Spokane. And a double play ball is going to be very difficult on Bo Schinkel.
Yeah, Bo Schinkel led the team in stolen bases last year out there in Spokane for the Zags. He hit 288 last season. Another first pitch swinging up the middle. This is going to be a tough play. Draper comes in. He can't beat Schinkel at first base. And that'll score another run. So just as we were talking about Bo Schinkel's speed, he shows it off there. And now the Bells have a 3-2 lead off an RBI infield single from Schinkel.
You can see Eisenhut and Draper talking it out. I think Eisenhut wanted that ball to tag second. He had his foot on second base, and he was ready to just field it and get the force out, but Draper cuts him off, tries to go to first, and Schinkel's speed proves to be too much. Another infield single for the Bells on the game today.
It'll bring up Dylan Moss, an incoming freshman heading to Stanford as he takes a look at strike one. Moss struck out looking last inning in the second. But a big opportunity here. An 0-1 count, one gone. The bases loaded here in the bottom of the third inning. 2 runs here in the bottom of the third after that foul ball from Moss. It is now a 3-2 game here in Bellingham. The Bells take the lead in the bottom of the third inning. The Fish Sticks plated 2 back in the top of the first, but have since lost the lead. The Bells trying to build their 3-2 lead here with the bases loaded. That one tails outside for ball 1. It's now a 1-2 count to Dylan Moss with 1 out.
We saw Moss put together a really good AB his first time up and ended up striking out looking on a really good fastball from Twites that painted the outside corner.
Twites, the 1-2, again on the outside corner and again called strike 3. A huge strikeout for Kai Twites on Dylan Moss once again, and there are now 2 gone with the bases loaded.
That's an identical pitch to the one he struck out Dylan Moss on in the second inning. This time he does it in the third, and like you said, that's a huge out. Now you've got bases loaded, 2 down. Anyone can go to any base right here.
Tyler Peschke, the future UCLA Bruin, now up to the plate. Twites delivers an off speed that's low and away for ball 1. Peschke grounded out to Noah Kung over at third base his last time up. The bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. The Bells have now taken a 3-2 lead over the Sticks. And Peschke looking to build on that lead here with 2 gone. Twites delivers the 1-0. This one's swung on and taken foul down the left field line. 1-1 count now to Peschke.
A lot of foul balls down the third base line from righties in this inning. Just a little early to the velocity of Twites, and we already saw 2 very hard hit balls down that line as well that ended up foul.
As Twites delivers back into the turf, so 2-1 count now to Tyler Peschke. Bases are loaded with 2 gone here in Bellingham in the bottom of the third. It's a 3-2 lead for the Bellingham Bells, who sit in second place in the West Coast lead standings at 22-14. Really talented team here in the Bells. Twites trying to limit the damage. This one's popped up and away, and that will even the count at 2 apiece.
Oh, it's pitch number 62 for Kai Twites, and 60 to 70 seems to be the roof for pitch counts for starters for the Fish Sticks this year. So action in the bullpen. Twites nearing that 65-70 mark. This will probably be his last inning.
2-2 with 2 gone and the bases loaded here in the bottom of the third inning. It's a 3-2 lead for the Bells, who have already plated 2. This one's taken towards the right side. Eisenhut diving and can't make the play. They'll get past him for a base hit. 2 runners are in to score, and Peschke takes his base at second. That ball wasn't hit very hard, but just in the exact right spot. Right in between Bartholome and Tyler Eisenhut in the right side of the infield. And a lengthy at-bat results in a 2-run single for Peschke. It is now 5-2 Bellingham.
Runners were basically moving right there with bases loaded, 2 down, and everyone advances a base. And right after, Peschke follows suit on the throw, and that'll be the day for Kai Twites. As I suspected, 63 pitches the total for him today, and it looks like it'll be Nathan Burke coming in for the 2nd straight night for the Fish Sticks. Burke was nails last night. Hopefully he can build on a great 2 innings yesterday.
So Kai Twites encounters some trouble, almost gets out of it. He's 1 strike away for multiple pitches against Tyler Peschke, the future UCLA Bruin, and he sees an off-speed pitch. He swings late, but just got enough contact to push it through the right side of the infield and past the diving Tyler Eisenhut at second base. That's a 2-run single. 4 runs have now come in here in the bottom of the third inning, and the Bells lead 5-2.
Yeah, and still not a ton of hard contact in fair play from Kai Twites today. He was forcing weak contact. He got a couple strikeouts, but it just found gaps for the Bells, and that's what they've done to the West Coast League. That's what they're doing to the Fish Sticks today, and they lead by 3 in the third.
So as you mentioned already, Nathan Burke was completely shut down in 2 innings yesterday in Port Angeles. It was one of the most complete performances from the DubSea Fish Sticks pitching staff in a game this year. It started with Cole Knupfer going 4 innings and allowing just 1 earned run. And then Burke came in relief. Ryder Peterson pitched 2 shutdown innings. And then Finn Still came in the back half and shut things down in the 9th. So four pitchers, 4 of kind of the top arms that the Fish Sticks have seen this season. They only allowed 2 free base runners and just 1 run to the lefties. But let's call a spade here. The lefties are 8-28 on the season, and the Bells are kind of showing off their talent right now. And their top 4 guys aren't even in the lineup. They're at the All-Star game.
Yeah, this is a really good team. And we already saw the Apple Sox this year. That's also a really, really, really good baseball team. And the Bells are no different. There's a reason that the Fish Sticks main guy in the lineup that was the PIL MVP last year chose to come play for Bellingham this season. That's because they've got a winning culture established here at Joe Martin Field. It's a great atmosphere for a baseball game. It's a great town, really, up here in the upper left corner of the United States. And it's a good team as well because this team wins a lot of baseball games.
And it's a beautiful night. The sun is shining right in our faces, and we do not have ventilation.
We do not. It is pretty sticky up here.
Yeah. So Burke's first pitch, again, the sidearm delivery in there for strike 1. Romanic Kebon, the 5th member of our first team all-name lineup, is up to the plate. He's going to be attending UW and become a Husky next year. He flew out to left field his last time up. Runners on second and third. The 0-1 delivery is fouled off, and Kebon is quickly behind 0-2 to Nathan Burke.
4 Ks in 6 batters for Burke yesterday, and he's quickly ahead 0-2 on Kebon. Something I did notice is, obviously Twites is also a righty, but Burke's stuff moves so much better when it's facing righty hitters, and they put him in against Kebon, the lefty.
The slinging off-speed pitch is fouled off by Kebon, who stays alive in the count.
68 miles an hour on that, according to the radar here in Joe Martin Field. So such a difference from him compared to really anyone else in the Fish Sticks bullpen when it comes to velocity. But Burke makes it work.
Another 0-2. This one misses outside. It gets past Barsotti. Schinkel got a great jump over at third base, and he slides in safely. That will be the 5th run of the inning and the 6th of the ball game for the Bells, who now lead 6-2 in the bottom of the 3rd.
That's a tough one. Burke just misses outside, and it goes off the glove of Barsotti. He just doesn't quite squeeze it, and we've talked about it already, but Bo Schinkel can fly on the base pass and proves it once again right there.
Usually it's for my Zags, and this time it goes against the Fish Sticks. A bittersweet moment there for the Zag Bo Schinkel.
Or for the Zag Kyle Sweeney.
Yeah.
I think you mean. I don't think
true.
Bo Schinkel cares about what the Fish Sticks are feeling right now.
It's 1-2 now to Kebon. He swings and just catches a piece. He fouls it off again. I think we saw it last night. The lefties were just confused at how to attack Burke. The sidearm throw, it is a tough one to read off the hand, and especially with the velocity dip on the off-speed pitch from Nathan Burke, it can be tough to square up.
It's also very different for catchers like Barsotti to have to adjust from a guy like Twites to now Nathan Burke.
Here's the 1-2. This one's hit into center field. It's going to be a long run coming in for Rylan Gollard. He slides and can't make the grab. It's off his glove. So that will go down as an E8 for Rylan Gollard, but it wasn't for a lack of effort. He had to make a long run from deep center field, but that will score another run, and it is 7-2 Bells here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Originally ruled as a hit here in Bellingham, but they do make what is probably the right call and call that an E8. And all of a sudden, the Bellingham Bells have taken a huge lead in a blink in this game. It's 7-2 Bellingham on their home field, and kind of just flexing their muscles here in the third. That's such a tough play for Gullard out there as well, and we've already seen him make a sliding catch and got about as close as he possibly could have without making the grab.
So now back to the top of the lineup in Rashad Hayes, who led off this inning with the double and would come around to score. So Keybon at second after that error in center field by Gullard. Burke goes back to check on him. There was nobody there.
The reason he had such a big lead is because, like you said, there was nobody there on the bag. If Eisenhut was covering him, he wouldn't have been that far off the base. But smart move from Burke right there to keep Keybon on his toes over at second base.
This one's grounded over to Noah Kung at third. Draper will call him off, and Rashad Hayes, he would have beat out that throw. And now it's the confusing situation. Kung was charging in at the ball. It looks like he was called off last second. He leaves the ball. Draper instead picks it up. He doesn't even bother to throw to first base. The Sticks are now well aware of the speed of Rashad Hayes. And so now it's first and third with 2 gone, and that'll go down as a hit.
7th hit of the game for the Bells, who lead 7-2, and I would bet a dangerous amount of money that Rashad Hayes is going to try and steal second right here.
Hayes has shown off the speed already today. He stays put at first. That one is low for ball 1.
At some point in this at-bat, I would bet a dangerous amount of money that Hayes is going to go right there. I definitely didn't mean on the first pitch.
So 6 runs have come across here in the bottom of the third inning. It's a 7-2 lead for the Bells. Keiji Hattori led off the inning, or he was the second hitter in the inning. Rashad Hayes was over at first, led off the inning with a double. And Hattori singled to the right side of the infield to score Hayes. That feels like an hour ago now, as this has turned into a long one here in Bellingham in the bottom of the third. Still first and third with 2 gone. This one's hit out to center field. Gullard will stay put. A much easier play for Gullard out in center, and he will make the grab for out number 3. But not before 6 runs come across in the bottom of the third for the Bells, who have a 7-2 lead here in Bellingham going to the top of the 4th.
I said it in the top of the second inning, I believe, but we knew this Bells lineup was not going to stop scoring down the stretch of this game. They're just too good to do that, and they score in a big way in that third inning. Another error by the Fish Sticks defense on what was a really tough play for Rylan Gullard and just popped straight out of his mitt. But outside of that, all kinds of hits off Kai Twites and then Nathan Burke, and the Bells just finding gaps right now. Also, far and away, not the best performance we're ever going to see from the Fish Sticks defense in the first 3 innings.
So a pitching change now. Lathan Haywood's night is done after 3 innings of 2-run work. A lefty pitcher is coming out for the Bells. And it is Adam J. who will take the mound, an incoming sophomore for this team.
Jay, it's spelled like Blue Jay. Unfortunately, his first name is Adam. So they did not name their child Blue Jay, which would not be very nice. But Lower Columbia College, which is down I-5 on the other side of Seattle, once you go down into Kelso and Longview, that's where Lower Columbia College is. And
how do you, you just know the geographical locations?
My mom's from here. But Adam J. actually high school teammates with Beckett Turnbow at Tahoma High School.
Look at that. Turnbow not in the lineup today. He was also not in the lineup yesterday. So the Bells have the Fish Sticks sweating after a 6-run bottom of the third inning. It is 7-2 Bells here in the top of the 4th, as I will now continuously sweat through the rest of this game. Again, there is no ventilation and no fans here in Bellingham. It is a great booth we have. Absolutely no complaints there, but it is a warm night, and I am sweating profusely into this leather chair that I'm sitting on.
The sun's going to go down at some point during this game, and we will be very happy about that. Also, when we see the lights turn on, that'll be like the home stretch for us, because we cannot stress enough how sticky is the word that I used earlier, and it's really a great word. It's sticky in this booth today.
Sticky and slimy. That is...
I'm not sure I'd stretch it out to slimy.
Noah Kung steps to the plate against Adam J. He takes a look at ball 1 high. So it is Kung, Montano, and Eisenhut, 6, 7, 8 due up for the Sticks, who, after holding a lead for the first 3 innings, or for the first 3.5 innings, now find themselves in a big hole. It is a 7-2 lead for the Bellingham Bells here in the top of the 4th inning after 6 runs come in the bottom of the 3rd. It's now a 1-1 count to Noah Kung.
Kung, an RBI single up the middle his first time up.
That one's fouled back. He is behind 0-2. Kung scored the 2nd run in the top of the 1st inning for the Fish Sticks. It was a single up the middle that scored Rylan Gullard, who walked as the 2nd batter in the top of the 1st. 1-2 now as Adam J delivers. That is a little high and outside for ball 2.
Kung's trademark has been that hard ground ball through the infield, and we've seen a few extra base hits from him this year, particularly the RBI triple in the 8th against the Merchants on Monday, but a lot of singles for him, and he's already got one today. And he's got another one right there.
This one's lined up the middle for a base hit. So Noah Kung, after going hitless yesterday in Port Angeles, has 2 already here in the bottom, or the top of the 4th. And the leadoff runner is on for the 4th straight inning now for the Sticks.
Yeah, they've had a lot of runners on in this game, but still only able to cross home in that 1st inning. It felt like they needed to capitalize on those opportunities in the 2nd and the 3rd, and now trailing by 5 runs, they really feel the pressure.
Rodrigo Montano steps to the plate. It is his 2nd at-bat, but the 3rd time he's been at the dish. He was at the plate when Noah Kung was caught stealing. Back in the 1st inning, he tried to force a pickle to score a run, but was eventually tagged out. Montano forced a walk back in the 2nd. And that's low, so 1-1 count now to Rodrigo Montano.
Montano, we said this earlier, but 4 for 14 on the year, and it seems like as the season has gone on, he's gotten more and more opportunities in this lineup. Obviously, a few injuries have created spots for him to fill in, but just a constant improvement from him this summer.
That one's outside for ball 2. So Noah Kung at first, the leadoff man with a single up the middle for his 2nd hit of the game. It's a 7-2 deficit for the Fish Sticks here in the top of the 4th. As Adam J delivers in strike 2 to Rodrigo Montano.
Kung is not afraid of stealing bases either, so 3-2 count. We see the Fish Sticks stealing a lot of full counts. Obviously, it's 2-2 right now, but if this does fill up, we might see Kung go.
So Jay checks over at first base at Noah Kung. Kung's been a little bit conservative with his lead because Jay is a lefty, but we've seen some big leads from Noah Kung this season. Here's the 2-2, paints the outside corner for strike 3, and Montano is sat down looking.
That is a really nice pitch. We saw Kai Twites turn that into 2 strikeouts looking of Dylan Moss in his start today. Boy, look at Eisenhut on the video board. That is beautiful.
He had to have been in high school when they took that picture because it is now planted for everyone to see here at Joe Martin Field.
That's incredible, man. When you're walking up to the plate and then you look out in left center and it's that picture of you.
Eisenhut drills the first pitch he sees out to left center field, and it hops off the wall. Eisenhut's headed to 2nd base. Kung over to 3rd. Man, that ball was about 2 feet away from exiting the ballpark in a deep part of the field out there in left field. So a double for Eisenhut. There are runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 gone.
The high school headshot is powering up Tyler Eisenhut today. He's 2 for 2. He had a 3 for 3 game against the Studs last Thursday. That was 6 days ago, where he ended up having to come out of the game while he was running into 2nd base. But quite the turnaround at the dish for Eisenhut in the past few weeks, and I think this is a guy we can come to expect on the lineup card down the stretch of this season because he's hitting so much better right now.
So Isaac Watson takes a look at ball one. An opportunity for the Fish Sticks to cut into the 7-2 lead now for the Bellingham Bells in the top of the fourth. There's 2 runners in scoring position, and Isaac Watson at the dish. He's ahead 0-1, swinging up the middle. This is going to be a tough play, and it gets through for a base hit for Isaac Watson. Eisenhut hustling around from second. 2 runners will score. Isaac Watson continues a hot streak at the dish, a 2-run single, and this ball game getting interesting again here in the top of the fourth.
Such a cold streak for Watson to start the year. Every hit feels like he's just gaining more and more confidence this summer, and that one just chops right up the middle on the turf, and really tough play for the Bells infield. It ends up scoring 2, and the Fish Sticks, that is the exact response they needed to get back into this game. After a 6-run third from the Bells, they respond with 2 of their own, and only 1 down with Ian Draper back up.
So Draper takes a look at strike 1, back to the top of the order for the 3rd time. Draper was 2 for 2 with a 2-run shot and 3 RBIs in yesterday's win over the Lefties. Grounded into an ending double play in the 2nd. This one's grounded over to 3rd. It could be 2 again. Over to 2nd and over to 1st for the double play. So the Bells get out of the inning. Draper's 2nd straight grounded into double play. But 2 runs come across on a 2-run single from Isaac Watson. It is 7-4 Bells going into the bottom of the 4th.
You ever wonder how Crispy gets to the fryer for games? He uses King County Metro's Rapid Ride H-Line. King County Metro, the official commute of your DubSea Fish Sticks.
Wendy's went back to the kitchen to give our famous spicy chicken sandwich a total upgrade. More crunch, more flavor, with heat that just hits. Is this our best spicy chicken ever? Looks like a yes to me. Spicy chicken just got better at Wendy's.
They always say, think happy thoughts. It's easy when you're a Wendy's Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion. I'm an instant dopamine hit. Get it? Dope-amine? Like cookie dough. I said like cookie dough! Happiness is a Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion at Wendy's.
Once upon a home in the Issaquah Highlands, the Parkers used Thumbtack for a new kitchen island. Now the pizza is cooking and the kids are excited. Thank goodness for Thumbtack and all it provided. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Here for the bottom of the 4th inning in Bellingham at Joe Martin Field, Kyle Sweeney and Angus Trangmo with you again here on the Fish Sticks Network. 2 runs come across in the top of the 4th inning for the Fish Sticks off a 2-run single from Isaac Watson, but is still a 7-4 lead for the Bells after a 6-run 3rd inning for them, and Duncan Boss is now on the mound for the Sticks.
If you want any guy to try and keep the Fish Sticks within striking distance in this game, it's probably Duncan Boss. Wearing 21 today for the first time this year. Usually you can find him wearing number 51, but Boss, 9 scoreless innings to start the summer with the Fish Sticks. This was a guy that was on the championship team last year, which makes it a fish stick on fish stick matchup with Matt Churchill, who was one of the stars of last year's championship team in the lineup, at the plate to start the 4th.
So 3-4-5 due up for the Bells as Churchill takes a fat hack at strike 1 from Duncan Boss.
Fat with a PH, too. That was a big cut from Churchill. And he's a big man. 6'5" is what he's listed at behind the plate.
Boss has been a dominant arm so far this summer for the Seattle U Redhawk. That is fouled back, and Churchill finds himself quickly behind 0-2.
We saw a line drive from Churchill that almost landed fair for extra bases last time up against Kai Twites. And he's thinking big on basically every swing he takes.
Duncan Boss ahead 0-2. That one just inside for ball 1. Again, to his former fish stick teammate, in Matt Churchill.
Pretty fastball heavy stuff for Duncan Boss, and that fastball is good, good, good.
1-2 up the middle, and Churchill will win the battle. A base hit. He's on for the third time already today here in the bottom of the fourth, and the leadoff man aboard for the Bells.
We haven't seen too many people catch up to the Duncan Boss heater this year, and Churchill does just that. Line drive right back up the middle. He takes it where it was given. And now a runner on for the Bells, which has usually meant danger. This is a really good base running team, and they've proven that today.
That'll bring up Nate Johnson, who again is attending Tulane University next season. He takes a look at ball one outside. So Churchill at first with nobody gone here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Spas delivers up and in for ball two. There's 8 hits already from both teams here in the bottom of the fourth. It has been an offensive display. The Bells have taken advantage of those hits. It is a 7-4 lead for Bellingham here in the bottom of the fourth inning. That one's inside and almost grazes Johnson's arm, and it did. It hit Johnson. So the first 2 base runners are on here in the bottom of the fourth inning for the Bells against Duncan Boss.
Control has been an issue at times for Boss this year. It's been his only issue with the Sticks this summer. 9 innings, obviously scoreless, but 8 walks in those 9 frames. Obviously, that's not a walk, but it's still a free pass. And now runners on second, nobody out. It's going to have to be a pretty clean escape against this Bells lineup if Boss wants to keep the ERA at 0.00.
So Bryce Johnson following up Nate Johnson. He's up to the plate. He takes a hack and fouls back, strike one.
And the Bells, I mean, I think this is the first team all year that we've seen be on that fastball timing-wise. Just haven't been able to square it up always. The one square up turned into a base hit up the middle from Churchill.
So runners on second and first. Nobody gone here in the bottom of the fourth. The Bells trying to build on their 7-4 lead against the Sticks. Bryce Johnson swings and fouls off, strike two.
This will be a big out for Boss as long as these runners don't advance. Sets up a double play ball where we've seen the Bells finish off their defensive halves of the inning with 3 double plays in 4 innings today. Maybe the Fish Sticks can pull one back.
The 0-2 incoming from Boss. He fires in the off speed that's on the outside corner for ball one.
Johnson 1 for 1 today. Not his most convincing hit. It was an infield single on a chopper to Noah Kung that was kind of just placed in the right spot.
Boss fires in the 1-2. It's floated into right field and just tails foul. Boy, that ball didn't have a ton of velocity on it, but that would have been extra bases in the turf. And luckily for the Sticks, it just tails off in the last second.
That's about as close as it gets. It felt like it was bound to come down at some point and bring in Churchill from second base, but barely misses the line to the right side, and Johnson will have to step back in.
And Boss entered into this appearance with 9 innings of scoreless work. Runners on second and first with nobody gone, threatening to break that streak. Boss delivers the 1-2. This one's slapped up the middle. It could be 2. Eisenhut grounds it, steps on second, fires over to first, and he is safe at first base. But a great play by Eisenhut, who judged the bounce off the turf to get the lead runner. Now there are first and third with one gone.
That's just kind of an awkward play if you're Tyler Eisenhut. Don't want to overrun the ball by getting to the bag, and that's a tough hop if you're standing on second base with where that ball was bouncing as well. So instead he just lets it bounce, gets it on the rise, and steps on first, and just kind of off balance the whole way, but gets an out, and now a double play gets Duncan Boss out of the inning.
It'll be tough to double up Bo Schinkel, who is up to the plate, and for the first time in now his third plate appearance, takes a look at the first pitch for ball one. Schinkel, an infield single that turned out to be an RBI single. He also scored a run just last inning. That one is in the zone for strike one. He flew out to center field his first time up, but hit 288 and stole 8 bases, which led the team last year for the Zags. He was a mainstay out in center field. Is really good against right-handers, but did struggle against lefties, and Boss is a lefty. And he fires in strike two.
When that fastball is working, it is working. And we saw Churchill turn it into a base hit, but good on Boss to not go away from it right here and get ahead on Schinkel. Because you're right, double play is going to be tough. You might just want to think about getting a K right here to get out of this inning.
That one tails outside for ball two. It's now 2-2 to the Zag, Bo Schinkel. Returning to Gonzaga next year, that is good news for head coach Mark Maktoff and his future teammates with Jake Rolling and Will Cooley, who are on the Sticks. Here's the 2-2 from Duncan Boz. That's inside, and the count will fill up.
This is a big pitch right here. Full count, 1 down. Don't want to load the bases with 1 out if you're Boss, especially with how this lineup has been hitting today. Already 8 hits, and we're in the middle of the 4th inning.
3-2 delivered, and that hits Schinkel on the inside arm.
Oh, are they going to rule foul ball here?
The umpire's taking a look. Schinkel's saying that there's no way it caught a piece of the bat. Again, he turned a little bit on the pitch, and it hit his left arm, which is not what you see often from a lefty batter. But no foul ball is ruled, and Schinkel takes his base over at first. Coach Mark Lynn for the Sticks is going to come out and talk to the umpire. But if this play stands, and it likely will, it'll be bases loaded with 1 gone.
I think that most definitely hit Bo Schinkel, but the delay in the call, any manager is going to come out and have a chat after a delay like that where it seems like maybe you can pull a call to your side of the rope, and it looks like we're going to have a chat. I don't know what the field ump would have to offer in this conversation. He has one of the worst looks on the field, and there's no way this call gets changed. Schinkel will stay at first.
And Angus is correct. So Schinkel was hit by a pitch on a 3-2 count. He'll take his base. The bases are now loaded with 1 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Bells are looking to build on their 7-4 lead against Duncan Boss, who has yet to allow a run in his 9 innings of work this season. He's in grave danger now. And that is strike 1 on the outside for Dylan Moss, who doesn't like the call. We have a great view, and I'd have to agree with him.
Moss has a case on that one. He's already been rung up looking on 2 outside fastballs, and that one probably misses the zone outside, and it's strike 1. He'll be looking to swing on that outside third here.
Here's the 0-1 that is near the turf for ball 1. So, as you mentioned, Moss has struck out looking twice today. He is DHing, but is listed as a catcher. He's an incoming freshman attending Stanford next year. So bases loaded, a 1-1 count with 1 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Boss delivers, swung on and missed. A huge hack from Moss. He's behind 1-2.
I think Dylan Moss was envisioning 11-4 on the scoreboard out in left center with that cut. He was trying to put that ball all the way back in right center.
A 7-4 lead here for the Bells. It's a 1-2 count with the bases loaded to Dylan Moss. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Moss. But more importantly, that's a huge out for Duncan Boss. That's the 2nd out of the inning with the bases loaded.
If Boss can get out of this inning and stay scoreless on the season, that would be just insanely impressive. And obviously, you know, the first thing on his mind is to keep the score at 7-4, but you know there's something in the back of his mind telling him, hey, you're 9 2/3 into this season. You haven't given up a run all year, and he's looking to himself to deliver right here.
That'll bring up Tyler Peschke hitting in the 8-hole today. That one gets past Barsotti, but gets a great hop off the backstop and just bounces right back to him. So the runner at 3rd, which is Churchill, will stay put. So 1-0 count now to Peschke, who was in this situation his last at bat in the third inning, the bottom of the third, part of that 6-run third, where he kind of slapped an off-speed pitch towards the right side of the infield that got through the diving Tyler Eisenhut and would eventually score 2. He would also come around to score the last run of that inning. That one also gets past Barsotti. This time Churchill takes off, and he will get in safely. Boss frustrated at that, and that is his first earned run of the entire summer now. And that will snap a streak at 9 2/3 for Duncan Boss.
Obviously not the way you want to see it go either. Just a wild pitch that ends up going behind Tyler Peschke. 2-0, he's got an open bag now as well, so walk not the end of the world anymore, but just a tough way to see it go, and the Bells lead 8-4. There's been quite a few balls to the backstop today from the Fish Sticks.
That was close to being ball 3 and a 3-0 count to Peschke, but that just catches the outside corner for strike 1. So runners now on second and third with 2 gone. This one's a swing and a miss from Peschke for strike 2.
Really good bounce back from Boss after a couple wild ones to start off against Peschke.
So Johnson at third and Bo Schinkel with a lot of speed at second base. It's an 8-4 lead now for the Bells. Boss fires in there on the inside corner, called strike 3. So Boss strikes out his second straight batter, but another run comes across for the Bells in the bottom of the 4th inning on a pass ball. And it is 8-4 going into the 5th here in Bellingham in favor of the Bells.
Got a track meet on our hands, Kyle. A lot of runs that are coming across in this game. Right now, the line scores read. Fish Sticks, 4 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors. 3 errors, obviously a huge blemish, but the Bells, 8 runs on 8 hits, no errors. We've seen runs in 5 of 8 frames this year. Obviously, that 6, the crooked number in the bottom of the 3rd for the Bellingham Bells, that has proven to be the difference. But the Fish Sticks seeing the ball well. I mean, they can absolutely get back in this game at some point. Their pitching staff is going to have to start putting a lid on the Bells lineup.
So Adam J., the lefty, back out for another inning of work. He let up 2 in his first inning, back in the top of the 4th, coming in for relief of Lathan Haywood. So 2 in the 1st and 2 in the 4th, and that is how the Fish Sticks are at 4 runs. But it's an 8-4 deficit, and we kind of talked about it earlier in the game. The Bells are not going to slow down on the offensive end. They're one of the best offensive teams in the WCL, and missing 4 of their all-stars in the lineup, they're still able to put 8 runs on the board through the 4th inning. So the Fish Sticks are going to have to start really heating up on the offensive end.
I think it starts, obviously you can't start it with your guys at the plate, but it starts with a couple scoreless innings from your bullpen. We saw 1 in the 2nd inning, and it was really good stuff from Kai Twites in that 2nd inning. But if the Bells are able to stay consistent with 1s and 2s down the stretch in this game, it's going to make it really difficult for the Fish Sticks to battle back.
So Draper, who led off this game and was stick of the game yesterday, grounded into his 2nd straight double play to end the top of the 4th inning. So Gullard, Cooley, and Barsotti, 2, 3, 4, due up here in the top of the 5th for the Sticks. That one is out. Oh, no. Wow. Well, we get a great view here in Bellingham. That was at least a couple inches off the plate, but it is called strike 1 to Gullard.
And that was just a called strike in the bottom of the 4th to Dylan Moss as well. So anything outside is probably going to get called pretty far off today. Something to note for hitters at the plate today, especially righties like Gullard.
1-1 count now to Gullard, who takes back in the 3rd. He did also score in the 1st inning, but was stranded at 3rd base. So has reached both times he's been up and improving on a great summer. He fouls that straight back and will stay in the count. Again, we didn't see Gullard in yesterday's game against Port Angeles. A rare day off for him, but entering this game hitting .333 in 112 plate appearances. Here's the 1-2, again, fouled off. And it might as well be Christmas time in here for the booth for us, because the sun is setting and a breeze is coming through the windows. And I've already created a pool of sweat, but it feels fantastic now up here in Bellingham as the sun is close to setting. Here's the 1-2. Good look from Gollard, and the count will even up.
So talented with 2 strikes at the plate, and we already saw a 2-strike base hit from him in this game. We saw 3 of those in Everett on Monday.
Jay fires in the 2-2 on the inside part of the zone for strike 3. Gollard doesn't like the call, but he's rung up on strikes for the first out of the inning.
It was very close, and it's hard to retroactively decide up here if that was a ball or a strike, but that's the kind of pitch in a 2-strike count Gollard should probably be going after, and I think he knows that better than anyone. Just a rare mistake on the discipline side of things from Gollard right there.
It's interesting because looking at the stats, we mentioned that it was 112 plate appearances, and that is just the 12th time that Rylan Gollard has struck out this season. And Riley Sonoy is coming in to pinch hit now for Will Cooley. So the future Zags day is over. Sonoy will take over in right field, and he takes a look at ball 1.
Right field seems to be the corner of the outfield where Sonoy is starting to take most of his reps. We've also seen him in left this year as well. Noah Benedict, also a primary right fielder, not in the lineup today.
Sonoy hitting .275 this summer, was injured in that trip to Central Washington against the Wenatchee Apple Sox and has kind of struggled a little bit since then to regain the footing that he had at the plate. He was 0 for 2 pinch hitting yesterday, but was 1 for 2 against the Merchants back on Monday. So this is kind of a weak stretch for Sonoy coming back from the injury to start to get things going again. And that's on the inside corner. It's a 3-1 count now to Sonoy.
Sonoy has worked quite a few walks this year. Pretty selective hitter when he's up at the dish.
Jay, deep breath, delivers over the heart of the plate for strike 2. So full count now to Riley Sonoy.
With Peyton Barsotti, 2 for 2 on deck, I think Sonoy's probably just looking for any way to get on base right here.
Jay, the payoff pitch. This one's grounded over to first base, but it actually hit Sonoy's foot before it went into fair territory. So that'll be a foul ball, and Sonoy is in a little bit of pain and walking around pretty gingerly.
Reminds me of last night when Will Cooley fouled one off his front foot, and it was a fair ball. No one knew it was a fair ball except the umpires, and that ball ended up grounding over to Carter Enoch at first base, and he threw it right into left field, and the Fish Sticks got a gift. That time, it's ruled correctly, and Sonoy stays alive. Similar hit, though, right off the foot to the first baseman.
It's another chance now for Sonoy. Second straight payoff pitch incoming from Jay. Fired in there and fouled off. A good battle right now between Sonoy and Jay. And again, we've already mentioned it in the broadcast, but we saw our first ever steal on a foul ball yesterday. And that was the first I have ever seen, and I've been around baseball for quite some time. Another 3-2 on the inside part of the plate and just misses for ball 4. So kind of a courageous take for Riley Sonoy after Rylan Gollard got rung up on kind of an identical pitch, but he is on first base.
Yeah, mirrors of one another, but an identical pitch I think is not too far off, and Sonoy gets the call right there. That's a 8-pitch battle that goes in favor of the Fish Sticks, and that's really good to have a base runner on for Peyton Barsotti, who's got 2 hits on the day already.
So it's 8-4 here in the top of the 5th inning. We have seen crazier comebacks from the Fish Sticks, including last week where they came back from down 7-0. So trying to manufacture base runners and get back into this ballgame against the Bells. Sonoy's at first with 1 gone. Barsotti now at the plate. It's an 0-1 count to Barsotti, who, as you mentioned, is 2 for 2 today. A double and a single. He also had an RBI back in the first. Big hack from Barsotti, and he's quickly behind 0-2.
I think he might have foul tipped that either way. It went straight back into the mid of Churchill behind the dish. And 0-2, Barsotti usually a guy that hits better at heading counts, but a couple deep counts that he's gotten into today that have turned into base hits.
Here's the 0-2 on the outside corner. That was close, but called ball. So a 1-2 count now for Barsotti.
It's really hard to see the highs and lows from up where we are, and it's hard to tell if that did miss down low. But another really good take from Barsotti. That's about the same spot where Sonoy took ball 4.
Jay takes a look at first. Delivers the 1-2 to Barsotti. He's behind the fastball and swings through for strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Jay, and there are 2 gone here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, no reason to do anything but challenge Peyton Barsotti right there, and Jay just goes after him with the heater and gets a late offering. 2 down. Sonoy, not the speediest guy on the team, but we might see him break for second here with Bartholomew at the plate.
That is low for ball 1 to Braden Bartholomew, who has been struggling in the past couple of games, is struggling here tonight. Is 0 for 2 and grounded into a double play back in the 3rd, but prior to this road trip, he was 8 for 14 in his last 3 games. So trying to get back to that. He swings and fouls off that 1-0, so the count will even up at 1 apiece.
So that goes up and over the press box here. I just got to say, this is one of the nicest press boxes we've gotten to work with, and probably one of the nicest stadiums we're going to see all season. The setup here in Bellingham at Joe Martin Field is exquisite for some baseball, and there's a reason they produce a winning team year in and year out.
Bartholomew right up the middle, almost hit Jay, and that'll get through for a base hit. So a nice piece of hitting from Bartholomew, just what he needed. And there's now runners on second and first with 2 gone in the top of the 5th.
That brings up Noah Kung, 2 for 2 on the day. Another guy alongside Barsotti that's seen the ball well, and a signature Kung base hit would probably score Riley Sonoy from second right here. And the Fish Sticks are kind of just going to have to keep pace today in what has been a high-scoring affair in Bellingham.
An 8-4 lead for the Bells here in the top of the 5th as Kung takes a look at ball 1. Hasn't been for a lack of offense for the Fish Sticks. They now have 9 hits through 4 2/3 innings. There's 2 gone here in the top half of the 5th inning. Trying to cut into this Bells lead. Kung swings and misses. It's now a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Chase is a bit up high right there. We've seen a couple fastballs high that Kung has gone after this year, but he turns a lot of those fastballs up high into base hits that he just grounds through the infield. So that's a swing he's comfortable with.
1-1 incoming from Adam J. That's outside over to first base. Churchill tried to backpick Braden Bartholomew. That was unsuccessful.
That's a risky throw as well, especially given the fact that Nate Johnson wasn't really covering the bag all too vicariously over there. If that gets over Nate Johnson at first, that's scoring a run, and that's starting a parade around the bases for the Fish Sticks.
Fish Sticks looking to come back. Once again, it's an 8-4 lead for the Bells. That is outside for ball 3. So 3-1 count now to Noah Kung. One more ball would load the bases with Rodrigo Montano on deck. Eight to 4 Bells here in the top of the 5th. 2 gone. Jay delivers a 3-1. That is again outside for ball 4. So the bases are loaded, and Montano coming to the plate.
Jay's been out there for 1 2/3. That was pitch number 42 just now, and it looks like there is an arm ready in the Bells bullpen. So there's going to be a mound visit here. No telling at this point whether or not Adam J., the lefty, is going to stay in for Rodrigo Montano.
Montano, another lefty, has walked and struck out in this game. And Lynn's going to go to the bench. He just pointed to Vaughn Lowe, and I believe he's going to make a change. So he is going to target the left on right matchup here and bring in the righty Vaughn Lowe to pinch hit for Rodrigo Montano with the bases loaded.
And it does appear that they're going to keep in Adam J., but now this kind of forces the Bells' hand because there is a man ready in the Bellingham bullpen. So now with Vaughn Lowe coming out for this AB, do the Bells just quick fire another mound visit and maybe take Adam J out and the chess match continues here in Bellingham? I don't know.
So Von Lowe was not particularly ready for that at-bat. He might have just grabbed the wrong bat coming out of the dugout too, but he takes a couple hacks. He's all ready to go, and he replaces Rodrigo Montano in the 7-hole today and will pinch hit with the bases loaded and 2 gone here in the top of the 5th. It's an 8-4 lead for the Bells, but one swing of the bat from Von Lowe could bring the Fish Sticks right back into this game.
This is such a big spot for Lowe, and he is one of the guys on this team that really thrives with runners in scoring position. We talked about it yesterday as well.
Hitting .224 this season. And that's on the outside corner for strike 1.
That is a timely pitch right there from Adam J. after a 5-pitch walk of Kung. That is just paint on the corner.
0-1 count with 2 gone and the bases loaded. Jay delivers right over the heart of the plate for strike 2. He's quickly ahead 0-2 now to Von Lowe.
We've seen a few strikeouts from Lowe in recent games, and this is a big spot to battle out here, particularly in that Everett game. He had a couple great ABs, and hopefully he can conjure one up right now.
Jay comes set. Delivers the 0-2. That one's low. Nice job by Churchill to keep that in front of him. Now 1-2 count to Von Lowe.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Fish Sticks trailing by 4, and the Bells have 8 runs in 4 innings. And they're not going to stop there. I think we can both agree they're not going to stop there. So the Fish Sticks have to come out of the 5th with something right now.
Trailing by 4 here in the top of the 5th. A big opportunity for Von Lowe. Bases loaded, swings, and fouls it down the line. So he'll stay alive in the count.
Why in the world would you send... There, okay, there you go, Nathan Burke. Jake rolling at a nice 40% heading out to get the ball. Not showing too much effort over there.
Haven't seen Rolling in the lineup over the past couple of games. Again, the future Zag. So another 1-2 incoming for Von Lowe. Bases loaded, 2 gone. Here in the top of the 5th. Lowe swings and misses at strike 3. A huge strikeout from Adam J. So a scoreless top of the 5th despite all that. And the Bells have an 8-4 lead going into the bottom half of the 5th inning.
For over 15 years, As You Wish Electric has offered the comprehensive electrical solutions Seattle families trust. We are proud to announce that we can now also serve your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. As we grow, we are committed to delivering the same knowledgeable and friendly experience that earned our spot as the region's top-rated electrical company. Contact As You Wish Electric Plumbing, Heating, and Air today to learn more.
Oh, Audrey, look over there.
Where? Oh, a whole herd of reindeer beers.
Not herds, Audrey. Rainier's come in 6-packs.
Oh,
Wake up, Harley.
Harley, look at the reindeers. Oh, they're just so fresh and friendly.
Duncan Boss out for another inning of work, his 2nd inning in relief here in the bottom of the 5th at Joe Martin Field up in Bellingham. I'm Kyle Sweeney, joined alongside by Angus Trengmo. Once again here on the Fish Sticks Network, the sun is starting to set. The lights have officially come on here at Joe Martin Field, and the Bells get out of a bases-loaded jam in the top of the 5th inning, and they hold their 8-4 lead.
That's some timely pitching from Adam J. right there. He starts off Von Lowe with 2 really nice fastballs to get ahead 0-2 in the count, and then a fastball that almost ran away from Von Lowe, had that movement like a 2-seam, and it runs away, gets a chase from Lowe, and it gets the Bells out of the inning clean, and they still lead by 4, and looking for more right here on Duncan Boss.
So Boss came in last inning. He let up an earned run in the bottom of the 4th, his first earned run of the entire season now through 10 innings. That one runs inside on Ramanik Kebon. Our third look at Kebon, who is officially now our 5th member of the first team all-name. Congratulations to Kebon for earning such prestigious honors as he takes a look at ball 2.
It's a very selective group.
It is.
That we run up here.
Tight bunch.
Yeah.
So 9-1-2 due up for the Bells. That one runs outside for ball 3.
I do have a question about the all-name first team. We have our pitcher in Atticus Stanfield, right? But does it need to be positioned?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Just 9 total. We have 5 so far. That one over the heart of the zone for strike 1. Again, Kebon joins Atticus Stanfield, our very own fish stick, the lone fish stick on the list, and then Diverson, Villalobos, Cash Aguilar, and Indy Anderson. There we go. Here's the 3-1 from Boss, swinging and grounded over to first. Bartholomew is going to take it and flip it over to Boss, and they'll combine for the first out of the inning. So Boss comes back from a 3-0 deficit to get the leadoff man, Kebon, to start out this inning. And
that's a really nice cover from Boss. Sorry to step on your feet right there, but really nice cover because Kebon has some speed to his name, and Boss timed that perfectly. He catches the ball while he's on the way down to tag the bag. That is exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation as a pitcher.
So huge first out of the inning because that goes back to the top of the lineup with Rashad Hayes, and he has been quite the difficult out tonight. So already his 4th at-bat. This one's ripped towards right field. He doubled that direction back in the 4th, and that one's caught out and right by Riley Sonoy. So 2 quick outs here for Duncan Boss. Much better inning here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, you said it. That's the exact part of the park where he doubled earlier in this same game. Got that 6-run 3rd inning started for the Bells, but just not hit on a line like the first one was, and Sonoy camps under it.
So 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th. The Bells do have an 8-4 lead, but it's been much better work for Boss. And this one's up the middle on the first pitch, and that'll get down for a base hit for Keiji Hattori. He's starting to build on a pretty nice day here. That's his 2nd hit of the game. He had an RBI single back in the 3rd, and he's on first base with 2 gone.
Line drive up the middle for a base hit from Hattori. Turns it to Churchill, who had a eerily similar hit back in the 4th inning. Ended up coming around to score on that wild pitch from Boss.
So Churchill comes up. He's been hit by a pitch, he's been walked, and he's had a single. So finding any way to get on first base in this game. This one's popped up and out of play.
You're going to see a lot of foul balls against Duncan Boss anytime he's out on the mound, and we've seen quite a few today. Just, it's really hard to square up what he's throwing in the zone.
So 0-1 count now to Matt Churchill. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Boss delivers. That one's outside for ball 1. Hattori at first after his 2nd single of the game. The Bells hold an 8-4 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-1 now to Matt Churchill. Boss delivers outside for ball 2. Again, these 2 guys were both on the Fish Sticks last season. Churchill had a fantastic year down in DubSea. So 2-1 count now with 2 gone. This one's ripped over at Noah Kung. He just bats it down and then can't find the ball. Be hard to tell if that'll go down as an error or a hit for Churchill, and it will be ruled as a hit. So that one was lined right at Noah Kung at 3rd base, who's new to that position now with Draper over at short. And that's kind of his 2nd mistake today now.
They were both ruled hits, so no errors to his name, but kind of just tried to bring the glove through, where if he steadied out and just kept his feet set, he might have been able to backhand that and turn it into the 3rd out.
Swing and a miss from Nate Johnson for strike 1. So the 2nd hit of the game, the 4th time that Churchill has reached base. And we're in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's an 8-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells over the Fish Sticks. Runners on second and first. That one bounces and gets in front of Barsotti. Both base runners will advance. So runners on second and third now with 2 gone. And Nate Johnson looking to accelerate this lead for the Bellingham Bells.
This is kind of what we saw in Wenatchee with that offense, just constant pressure, constant runners in scoring position, constant scoring opportunities, and the Apple Sox took advantage of them against the Fish Sticks. The Bells are doing the same thing.
1-1 fired in there on the corner for strike 2 to Nate Johnson. Again, another big guy in this lineup, 6'5" left-hander. He has a chance to extend this lead. Runners on second and third now with 2 gone in the bottom of the 5th. It's an 8-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells. Boss delivers off speed that hits in front of the plate for ball 2.
I mentioned this earlier, but I think part of the reason that Barsotti's had trouble handling a lot of pitches behind the dish is because there's been quite a few funny bounces off that turf. It's pretty deteriorated turf.
There we go.
Right by home plate.
Here's the 2-2. That one's off the zone for ball 3. The count will fill out. What did I say yesterday?
Goop plop.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
A
bloop pop.
Bloop fly or
Bloop pop fly base hit.
Yeah.
And then you said boop plop.
Boop flop. There we go. Okay.
You said boop plop. And then Nathan Burke struck out again. And I went strike 3, boop plop.
Deteriorating.
Yeah.
I don't remember how you said it, but
deteriorating.
Yeah.
I said it about
There we
da-da-da-da-da-da.
Here's the payoff pitch, and that is outside for ball 4. There was a free bag, so the bases will now load. That'll bring up Bryce Johnson here with the big opportunity with 2 down. So no base runners and 2 outs for Duncan Boss has now turned into a bases loaded situation.
Saw the runners score in the 4th on a wild pitch, so if anything, you just want to keep it in front of Barsotti.
This one's up the middle. Eisenhut does a great job to keep it in the infield, but he's just going to hop up, and there will be no throw. So Eisenhut saves a run. That ball was chopped straight up the middle. Another unfortunate placement for the Fish Sticks, and Eisenhut smartly dives and saves it from going in the outfield. No chance to get Johnson over at first base, so the bases are still loaded, but it'll now be a 9-4 lead for the Bells.
That's an insane diving play to even get a glove on that, let alone just snare it off the bounce. And like you said, it saves a run and keeps the Bells at single digits, but another run comes in on Duncan Boss. The Bells just said it earlier, but flexing their muscles at the plate today.
Bo Schinkel now to the plate. The bases still loaded with 2 gone. And here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed for strike 2.
Breaking stuff away from the lefty Schinkel. Not a very lefty-heavy lineup for the Bells, so this is a welcome sight for Boss to try and get out of the 5th.
0-2 now to Schinkel, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI single. He was also hit by a pitch last inning. Here's the 0-2 off the outside part of the plate for ball 1.
Outside part of the zone has been pretty expanded, and we've seen pitchers on both sides kind of try and live there in 2 strike counts today. That one just hooked a little too far out.
Here's the 1-2 to Bo Schinkel. That one's low for ball 2. So Boss kind of struggling to get out of these counts right now. 2-2 now with 2 gone and the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 5th inning for Bo Schinkel.
Schinkel's got speed too, so any force or any ground ball that ends up in a play at first is going to be tough.
That one again in the turf. Nicely done by Barsotti to keep it in front of him. It is a 3-2 count now with 2 gone.
Another really big pitch right here. I mean, pretty obvious on the surface. This pitch has a lot of meaning, but not just for this inning, but for the Fish Sticks' comeback hopes.
3-2. Runners going. Called. Strike 3. Fastball just zips over the heart of the plate, and Duncan Boss is out of the inning. But another run comes across for the Bells. It is a 9-4 lead for Bellingham over the DubSea Fish Sticks entering the top of the 6th.
Timely strike 3 right there from Duncan Boss. He goes to his favorite pitch, the fastball, and it's well placed on the lower rail of the zone. But I said this before, if the Bells are able to still put up these 1s and 2s and have this consistent flurry of runs all night, it's going to make the Fish Sticks' job really hard to get back in this game. And what do you know, another 1-run frame for the Bells, staying consistent at the plate.
So a new arm on the mound. Adam J's night will be over. And the Bells will turn to a left-hander for the first time today. It'll be Will Crane coming in for the Bells.
So we saw Jay, the lefty, and the Fish Sticks went to that matchup with Von Lowe. And they tried to play into that, and Jay came up with a big-time strikeout to put a 0 on the board in the 5th for the Fish Sticks. But there was a righty ready, so that kind of just speaks to the trust that the Bellingham Bells have in Adam Jay to keep him in that situation, even after giving up 2 in the 4th on the base hit from Isaac Watson and loading the bases in the 5th.
So I actually temporarily went blind there for a second, and Will Crane is actually a right-hander. So I said he was a lefty.
Yeah.
He is actually a right-hander. He is going to UCLA next season, an incoming sophomore. It's another UCLA guy for this Bells team. It's going to be tough for the Fish Sticks to face. But a 9-4 lead for the Bells. The Fish Sticks have from the 6th inning and on to try to make another miraculous comeback, but we've seen it multiple times this season. They came back from 4 down against the Everett Merchants just two days ago in the top of the 8th inning. The Merchants would go on to win that game, but the Fish Sticks have also come back from 7 runs down in the bottom of the 7th inning against the Studs. We saw that at the Friar last week. So nothing is impossible for this Sticks team, but they're going to have to start churning on offense as Tyler Eisenhut up to the plate takes a look at ball 1.
Eisenhut 2 for 2 on the day. And Riley Sonoy's graphic is up on the video board, and I'm very sad because I want to see that picture of Tyler Eisenhut again.
8-9-1 due up for the Sticks. That one off the plate for ball 2. Eisenhut has had a nice night. He has a single in the 1st and a double back in the 4th. He would eventually come around to score. It was a hard-hit ball that bounced off the wall. It was about 2 feet from clearing the fence. That would have been his first home run of the season. And he is ahead 3-0.
3-0 count. Production team here in Bellingham running out of time to give me what I want and show us that awesome picture of Tyler Eisenhut from middle school, maybe.
3-0 just finds the zone for strike 1 to Tyler Eisenhut, but the rest of the ballpark think this is Riley Sonoy.
Eisenhut definitely not getting up to 6-3, too, so.
Here's the 3-1. Eisenhut up the middle. Going to be a tough play for Meshke. He fields and fires across the diamond and makes the play in time for out number 1.
Sneaky speed from Eisenhut, and we haven't seen him go after a bunch of bases this year, so that does make it a tough play for Peshke, but the turf helps him out and makes it look routine over at short.
1 gone now for Isaac Watson. Watson was in a fielder's choice on a bunt back in the 2nd, and then had a 2-run single back in the 4th that made it a 7-4 ball game at that point. It looked like the Fish Sticks were right back in it, but 2 runs plated, 1 each in the 4th and the 5th by the Bells, who have extended it to a 9-4 lead. Swing and a miss for strike 1. It's a 1-1 count now to Isaac Watson, but Peyton Barsati's graphic is now up in center field.
Yeah,
so.
Just a little off kilter on the graphics package out there in left center, but Watson just continues to improve at the plate this year and getting ready for his sophomore year at Centralia College in the NWAC. This is a guy that while he hasn't had his best glove with the fish sticks, such a good fielder as a corner infielder. And if he can turn the corner with the bat, he's also a really solid pitcher as well. So such a versatile guy.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. So quickly 2 down now for Will Crane, showing off why he's going to UCLA. He has sat down 2 straight batters for the Sticks, but now back to the top of the order with Ian Draper.
Yeah, as opposed to a great day for Draper yesterday, this has not been a good day for Draper. He's 0 for 2, grounded into 2 double plays that both ended innings.
That one's low for ball 1. Draper did walk and steal a base and score a run back in the first. So he has now gotten on base 6 of the 8 times he has been up for the Fish Sticks going back to yesterday's game. Off-speed turns Draper around and falls in inside for ball 2.
We saw Tyler Eisenhut get ahead 3-0, and now Draper ahead 2-0. Maybe the Fish Sticks going to become more selective at the plate with Crane on the mound.
2-0, hit well into left field, and it stays fair. 2 hops the wall. Draper's got a lot of speed, but he's going to hold up at second base. That was just a hanging off speed from Will Crane on a 2-0 count, and Draper offered at it. And another extra base hit for him, and he's on second base with 2 gone.
9 times out of 10, Ian Draper's going to punish that pitch, and he does just that when Will Crane gives it to him in a 2-0 count, so a hitter's count as well. But that's the 10th hit of the game for the Fish Sticks. They have left quite a few runners on base today, a lot of inning-ending double plays, and to get back into this game, they're going to have to start bringing in these runners. Gullard's a great guy to have up in this situation to try and score Draper from second.
Gullard takes a look at strike 1. He's behind 0-1 with Draper at second base. 2 gone here in the top of the 6th. The Bells lead the Fish Sticks 9-4. The Fish Sticks trying to garner some runs to make another comeback. Crane delivers. Gullard pops it up to center field. Bo Schinkel takes a couple of steps to his left and will make the 3rd out of the inning. So Draper stranded at second base. To the bottom of the 6th we go. The Bells with a 9-4 lead over the Sticks.
You ever wonder how Crispy gets to the fryer for games? He uses King County Metro's Rapid Ride H-Line. King County Metro, the official commute of your DubSea Fish Sticks.
Wendy's went back to the kitchen to give our famous spicy chicken sandwich a total upgrade. More crunch, more flavor, with heat that just hits. Is this our best spicy chicken ever? Looks like a yes to me. Spicy chicken just got better at Wendy's.
They always say, think happy thoughts. It's easy when you're a Wendy's Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion. I'm an instant dopamine hit. Get it? Dope-amine? Like cookie dough. I said like cookie dough! Happiness is a Cookie Dough Frosty Fusion at Wendy's.
Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Bellingham Bells have a 9-4 lead over the visiting DubSea Fish Sticks here at Joe Martin Field. Quite the sunset going on right now up here in Bellingham. Hawthorne Moody now on the mound for the Fish Sticks, relieving 2 innings of Duncan Boss.
Yeah, Boss, the first 2 runs he's given up all year, 1 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th, and now Fish Sticks turn to Moody. I think Moody, everyone that has watched the Fish Sticks this year is better than a 6.75 ERA, but not exactly looking to punch out guys, looking for weak contact. We've seen a good amount of weak contact from the Bells today, especially given that they have 11 hits through 5 innings. You'd expect a lot of hard-hit balls, but we haven't seen too many of those today.
21 combined hits between these 2 teams now through 5.5 innings. A 9-4 lead for the Bells, looking to build on that here in the bottom of the 6th inning against Hawthorne Moody. Dylan Moss coming up to lead things off. First pitch swinging, this one's popped up, and it will creep out of play.
Right off the Fish Sticks dugout. Nice snare from Beckett Turnbow over there.
Actually, there's my brother, Derek Sweeney.
Wow.
In the stands there, he almost had a chance to catch that one, but
should have laid out.
He should have.
Up and over the net and then on top of the Fish Sticks dugout. He might have been on SportsCenter tonight if he pulled that one off.
Definitely would. It's been a tough night for Dylan Moss tonight. He is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Moody comes in, fires in the 0-1 on the outside corner for strike 2. Moss doesn't like that. He's had 2 strikeouts rung up on the exact same spot already today. Looking to avoid his 4th strikeout of the game for the Stanford commit. That one's way outside for ball 1.
You can see the frustration starting to set in for Moss just because it seems like the Fish Sticks pitchers have had the pitch sequences just perfect on him all day, and then Moss can't get a call to go his way either.
That one's just off the plate. That was close for Hawthorne Moody. That is now a 2-2 count. So Moss, Peschke, and Romanik Kebon due up. 7-8-9 for the Bells. Hawthorne Moody's 11th appearance of the season. Goes back to that outside corner, but again misses for ball 3.
That's a really good watch from Dylan Moss, a guy who's struck out looking twice today. Lets that one go by. That's impressive.
Looking to avoid his 4th strikeout of the game. Here's the payoff from Moody. Boy, that was a dangerous spot for Moss to let go, but his ball 4 right on the inside corner.
That was about as close as possible for Hawthorne Moody to being strike 3. It looked like it just missed on the inside part of the plate to the righty Dylan Moss, and a leadoff runner is on for the Bells.
And that'll bring up Tyler Peschke, the shortstop committed to UCLA. Moss, a healthy lead over there at first. Moody fires in ball 1 to Peschke. Struck out looking his last time up in the 5th, but had a 2-run single back in the 3rd, and off speed he just punched to the right side of the infield in a bases loaded situation. 1-0 from Moody is outside for ball 2.
Moody's not a guy that's going to miss the zone a lot, and after a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and being behind 2-0 to Peschke, he'll be looking for anything in the zone right here.
Was in the zone and hit well to left field, and caught out there on the track by Cade Galen, who just came into the game. Man, I thought that ball had a chance, but Galen is playing way back there in left field, and good thing he was. He catches that pretty much both heels at the wall for out number 1.
Peschke was expecting a strike right there, and Hawthorne Moody throws so many strikes. I said it. It was basically a guarantee he was going to put something in the zone. Peschke puts a good charge into it, and it was a tough read for Galen out there, especially given the fact that he was pretty off balance on the track, but hauls it in for the first out.
That'll bring up Romanik Kebon at the bottom of the lineup. First pitch swinging. This one's popped right back to Derek. Oh, but Derek left. That is really unfortunate timing because he would have been right there to make the catch. We were in contact. He was actually, he had shorts and a shirt on, and the temperature is going to dip below 60 degrees tonight. So it would have been a bit chilly. He actually just texted me that he was going to take off. I'll see him later tonight, but really unfortunate timing because that one would have plopped into his lap.
On accident?
Yeah.
Boot plop? Would you call it a boot plop?
Yeah. That one's also fouled back.
That might hit his car.
Yeah, it could hit my car. The GMC has been taken for a spin this week on the road trip.
Yeah, you've been driving all kinds of places. We took it to Everett. We took it to Port Angeles and went through Bremerton in particular, and then we find it now here in Bellingham.
0-2 bounces before the plate, so 1-2 count incoming to Romanik Kebon.
Moody can get away with something out of the zone here. It's just a matter of if he wants to do that or not.
This one's punched towards the right side of the infield, and that'll get through for a base hit. So Keybon battles back in the count. A couple of foul balls and another single from him. Now first and second with one gone here in the bottom of the 6th.
And that brings up Rashad Hayes with 2 runners on, which means trouble for the Sticks. We've seen the Bells score in 4 of 5 innings to this point, and with the top of the lineup on the way, chances are they are probably going to play another run if Hayes and company keep swinging the stick the same way they have been all evening.
Shout out to DJ Esco in future. Too Much Sauce is his walk-up song. That is a great choice for Rashad Hayes, and it has been working out for him today.
Is that off 56 Nights?
I think it's just a single.
Just single.
Yeah. It could have been. First pitch swinging and fouls it back for strike 1. Hayes reached on an error in short by Ian Draper, would steal third the next pitch and then score a run back in the first. He doubled the opposite way in the third, would also come around to score, and then singled back in the 4th. Finally got him out in the 5th with a fly out to right field his last time up. So the 5th time he's been up today. Runners on second and third, or first and second, excuse me, with one gone here in the bottom of the 6th. This one's lined over to right field once again, but right at Sonoy for the 2nd straight inning. A tag up at second base from Dylan Moss. He'll get to third on that one. But the Sticks kind of dodged one there. That was the exact same position where Hayes doubled back in the 3rd inning, but that'll be out number 2.
Yeah, 3rd straight time he's taken it out to right center field here in Bellingham, and that one was hit on a line as well. So really should have gotten down, but right at Riley Sonoy, nice break for the Sticks, and Sonoy is still playing pretty deep out there in right field as well.
So KG Hattori comes up for the 5th time again today. Runners on first and third, nobody gone, or 2 down, excuse me, here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That one's fouled out of play. Pink skies are now showing up out there in center field. A beautiful sunset brewing down the right field line. We hope that the stream gets a solid view of that because it is turning into a beautiful sunset.
There are some shades of pink and yellow here on OBS, but I don't think it's going to do it nearly any justice given what we're seeing right now.
0-1 count to Hattori. This one's towards Draper at second. Hamada, who just came in for Eisenhut, receives it, and it's a fielder's choice to end the inning. So a clean slate in the bottom of the 6th from Hawthorne Moody. Still a 9-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells going into the top of the 7th inning. The Fish Sticks, they've got some work cut out for them now. They've got 9 outs to make up 5 runs.
Yeah, but it starts with a scoreless inning or 2. I said that earlier. It's going to have to start with the Bells kind of just slowing down on the offensive end, and Hawthorne Moody comes in, does his job. Not the prettiest inning we're ever going to see from Hawthorne Moody, but strands 2 runners with a ground ball, and now the Fish Sticks are going to have to get the bats going. We saw 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 4th. Studies show, based on that pattern, that there should be 2 in the 7th, but they're going to need a lot more than that to get back in this game.
So Will Crane, the UCLA Bruin, back out there for another inning of work. 10 hits across those 4 runs for the Fish Sticks. It's been a nice offensive performance for them, but the Bells have just one-upped them. They've had 12 hits and 9 runs. The 3 errors compared to 0 for the Bells for the Fish Sticks is kind of right now the deciding factor, and the 6 on the scoreboard in the bottom of the 3rd inning is 100% the reason that the Bells are in front right now.
Yeah, those errors turned into 2 of the Bells' runs. So 1 in the 1st inning, that was on an error by Ian Draper on the first batter of the game for the Bells, where Rashad Hayes ended up coming around to score. And then in the 3rd inning, Rylan Gollard had a really tough play cut out for him out in center field and almost made it, but the ball pops right out of his glove on the slide, and another run comes in. So 2 runs can be credited to errors in this game. And score would be 7-4. So even with those 2 runs taken out, the Fish Sticks would still have work to do. I think the runners in scoring position and stranding runners has been the pitfall for this team because they've got quite a few hits, and I believe that they're probably going to keep getting hits and keep themselves in the game with their offense. It's just a matter of, can they drive in runners?
So Kane delivers strike one to Riley Sonoy. More pink out there in center field as the sun continues to set down the right field line. It is Sonoy, Barsotti, and Bartholomew due up. 3-4-5 in this lineup. Sonoy out to center field. Bo Schinkel will be under it for out number one. And now Jake Daly is pinch hitting for Peyton Barsotti in the cleanup position. So more changes in the lineup for interim head coach Mark Lynn here in the top of the 7th inning. The Fish Sticks are needing some runs right now, down 9-4.
Barsotti 2 for 3 on the day, drove in a run back in the first inning with a double opposite field. And we haven't seen Daly hit too much in recent games, hitting just above 200 on the year. But such a good start to the plate, to the summer for Jake Daly. Obviously a capable guy from St. Peter's out in Jersey City.
Hitting 207 on the summer, aggressive hack at strike one. Was up near 350 at the beginning of the summer. A kind of a late addition, came in about 2 weeks into the season, but has been struggling at the plate since then. So he gets an opportunity here. Down 9-4 in the top of the 7th inning. One gone, 1-1 count now to Jake Daly from Will Crane. Crane has been shut down here in relief. That one is upstairs for ball two.
Daly, followed by the ball magnet himself, Braden Bartholomew, but Daly's been hit by quite a few pitches in his sample size this year. He's second on the team.
This one's grounded over to third base. Rashad Hayes fields it, guns it over to first, and that'll be the second out of the inning.
Haven't seen too many balls to Hayes over at third, but makes that play look easy over in the hot corner on a tough chopper from Daly. And 2 quick outs for Crane here in the 7th. He had a really good 6th inning and doing more of that here in the 7th.
So to Braden Bartholomew in the 5-hole slot for the Sticks. 2 gone here in the top of the 7th. They're trailing 9-4 against the Bellingham Bells. First pitch swinging, he fouled it off his foot and into fair play. So Bartholomew taking a ginger walk around the catcher back into the right-hand batter's box. Bartholomew today is 1 for 3, grounded into a double play in the 3rd, but then ripped a single up the middle back in the 5th inning. Here's the 0-1. Way out in front of that off speed is Bartholomew for strike 2.
Yeah, that's just a chase from the righty Bartholomew on the running stuff from Crane. And ahead 0-2, we've seen Bartholomew be in quite the fights this year in 2 straight counts.
Here's the 0-2 on the outside part of the zone, just outside for ball 1.
Man, that is beautiful. I mean,
it is.
The sunset here.
It's amazing.
Not exactly mountains out to right field, but just incredible.
Up the middle, and that'll be a second straight base hit for Braden Bartholomew. Another great piece of hitting. So he is aboard with 2 gone here in the top of the 7th.
That was about as beautiful as the sunset. That was incredible 2-strike hitting. That's an outside fastball that's not even too far in on the heart of the plate. That is well located from Crane, and Bartholomew just crushes it for a line drive base hit, his 2nd of the game.
That'll bring up Noah Kung with 2 gone. Kung, first pitch swinging, fouls it back. Kung, a single and a walk today. Actually, 2 singles and a walk today, so he's been a tough out in this ballgame. Good to see from Noah Kung after going hitless yesterday against the Port Angeles lefties. Kung's been one of the more reliable bats on the season. Off speed, taken to center field. Bo Schinkel taking a couple of steps in. He'll plant under it and make the out for the 3rd out of the inning. So another clean sheet for Will Crane in the top of the 7th. The Bells leading the Fish Sticks 9-4 here in Bellingham.
For over 15 years, As You Wish Electric has offered the comprehensive electrical solutions Seattle families trust. We are proud to announce that we can now also serve your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. As we grow, we are committed to delivering the same knowledgeable and friendly experience that earned our spot as the region's top-rated electrical company. Contact As You Wish Electric Plumbing, Heating, and Air today to learn more.
Once upon a home in a Seattle bungalow, the Huffs searched on Thumbtack to find their next pro. Now the job is all done and the table is set. The hot dogs taste better on their fancy new deck. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Seventh inning stretch has commenced. It was an excited and loud seventh inning stretch. The PA announcer got into it a little bit. But Hawthorne Moody is back on the mound with his team down 9-4 here in Bellingham. The Bells are showing off a little bit. Their offense has been hot in this one, and they have a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the seventh.
As Jake Daly comes out for his first inning of work behind the dish today, catching Hawthorne Moody. Moody allowed a couple base runners. Was able to get out of that sixth inning, but the trend of the Bells just having base runners on at all times continues in this game. They've got 12 hits, also assisted by 3 errors by the Fish Sticks, 2 of which were on batted balls. And Bellingham, kind of just proving their worth in the West Coast League with 9 runs. Looking for more with at least 2 more frames at the plate on the way for the home team.
So a 9-4 deficit for the DubSea Fish Sticks. The Bellingham Bells came into this game 22-14 and in second place right behind the Wenatchee Apple Sox, who the DubSea Fish Sticks saw what they were capable of about a couple of weeks ago. 3-4-5 due up for the Bells. Matt Churchill will come to the plate against Hawthorne Moody. His first pitch swinging, ripped out to left field. And it stays fair. It is fair, and it is gone.
What?
We could not tell. That ball
I could tell. That was foul.
That ball was crushed. Now Mark Lynn is coming out. Churchill is smiling because he was the PIL MVP last year for the Fish Sticks. Mark Lynn is talking to him, giving him a little bit of words there. And Hawthorne Moody coming out to the umpire. He's saying that's a foul ball. I didn't get a great look.
No, I got a great look. That ball was foul. It missed left of the foul pole, and we're going to have a conference. So it just barely was a foul ball. I mean it. It's not just because we're on the Fish Sticks network. That was a foul ball for sure. That ball was pieced by Churchill, and he got all of it, and it had plenty of distance to get out of here. But it just barely trailed foul. Hopefully they'll be able to fix this call, and they do not.
So Hawthorne Moody doesn't like it. Angus doesn't like it. I can't say either way. I didn't get a great look. All I knew is that was going to get out of here. It was just a matter of if it stayed fair or foul, and it will stay a fair ball. No one on the Fish Sticks liked the call. The former Fish Stick, Matt Churchill, now has a home run. And after all that, Nate Johnson takes a hack and fouls off strike one.
This is such a tough one for Hawthorne Moody to regroup with, because even if it was fair or foul, Hawthorne Moody thinks it's foul. And now that's a run that you can't really blame on him. Obviously, Churchill pieced that ball, and it had the distance to get out of here, whether it was fair or not. But even with that ball, maybe it shouldn't have counted for a run, but that's really tough to regroup from, especially when it's the first pitch of the inning.
1-1 to Nate Johnson. He fouls that straight towards my GMC terrain. I really hope that's okay. And it is a 1-2 count. That was a wild way to start an inning.
3-for-3 day for Churchill, by the way, in his first game against the Fish Sticks.
This one's ripped towards right field, but fortunately right at Riley Sonoy for out number 1. So 2 pretty hard-hit balls against Hawthorne Moody in this inning. It was a home run for Churchill and a line out. Well, it was called a home run. Yeah. Again, it apparently was foul.
It was.
I thought it was foul, too.
That's so frustrating for Hawthorne Moody. Obviously, it's a 6-run game now. Not a huge difference on the scoreboard as Gullard hauls that in for out number 2, but that is beyond frustrating for Moody right there.
So that'll bring up Bo Schinkel. Hawthorne Moody otherwise has been fantastic here now through 1 2/3 innings. 10-4 lead after that solo shot from Matt Churchill as that paints the outside corner for strike one. 1 run in the first, 6 in the third, and then a run each in the fourth, fifth, and the seventh. And it's a 10-4 lead for Bellingham. That one's fouled off. Boy, my GMC train could be taking some shots here.
You're thinking maybe 3 balls have hit it at this point?
Yeah, three have just gone right to the – you got to expect the worst. Cars are expensive. 2 gone and an 0-2 count now to Bo Schinkel. Hawthorne Moody, that looked like strike 3. Man, that was right on the corner. But a 1-2 count now to Schinkel.
It's a tough break right there as well, but still ahead in the count. No reason to panic.
That one's fouled off. 10-4 lead for the Bells here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Fish Sticks are going to have a lot of work to do on offense to try to come back in this one. They have the 8th and the 9th inning to do so. As Moody delivers, fouled off once again. And Angus is looking at the replay right now.
I'm trying to see if the Bellingham feed had a good look at it, and it did not. We've got a better look on our camera than they did. It only ranges out to the infield, but
unfortunate break as this one's popped up. It should be an easy play for Ian Draper at short, and it is. So out of the inning is Hawthorne Moody, but a solo shot, quote unquote, from Matt Churchill has brought this game to a 10-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells out here in a beautiful sunset in Bellingham. But just 6 outs now for the Fish Sticks to make up 6 runs.
And you can see Hawthorne Moody just, sharing a piece of his mind with the home plate ump after that call. And everyone on the Fish Sticks, in the field, on the dugout, on the coaching staff, no matter who it was affiliated with the Fish Sticks, everyone's hands just went straight up in the air saying foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. But another one spot for the Bells. And I think that's the story of this game right now. Just sustained offense the whole way for the Bells. 1 in the first, obviously that 6th spot in the third is obviously the difference now in a 6-run game. But 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the 7th. That's very impressive to do damage like that the whole way through against a collection of pretty good arms for the Sticks that went today.
And even more impressive after that home run, that leadoff shot that should have been foul but was called fair to go 1-2-3 right after that for Hawthorne Moody against the heart of this Bells lineup. But it still is a 10-4 deficit for the Fish Sticks here into the top of the 8th inning. It will be another new arm, so Will Crane's day is done for the Bells. And that is Cal Young coming in, another lefty for this Bells team.
Big lefty at that. Pretty built guy, but Will Crane, really good stuff for him. Kind of a track meet in the early stages of this game, but Cal Young looking to pick up where Will Crane left off. 2 scoreless innings for Crane, the UCLA Bruin, and he had really good stuff. Callum Young goes by Cal, heading to the University of British Columbia as a senior this coming season.
He will likely be the closer for this Bellingham Bells squad, looking to win their 23rd game of the summer campaign and build on what's been a great season after being crowned the 2025 West Coast League champions last year. The Fish Sticks, the 2025 PIL champions last year, are looking to make another furious comeback in the 8th inning. Again, we saw a 7-0 comeback against the Studs last week, and after trailing 5-1 going into the top of the 8th just 2 days ago against the Everett Merchants, the Fish Sticks plated 4 runs and made it a 5-5 game before being walked off in the bottom of the 9th. So this is a team more than capable of making that comeback.
It's going to take quite a bit, though, against this Bells squad. This is no PIL team that the Fish Sticks are facing off with today. This is one of the top teams in the West Coast League this year, coming off a West Coast League championship in 2025. And this is a culture that I think any summer collegiate baseball team would like to replicate.
So Cade Galen comes to the plate. And he squares away to bunt. First pitch. And Young mishandles it. Galen's speed is too much. It just takes one little bobble, and Cade Galen is at first base with the bunt single.
We saw a bunt single from him against the Merchants in the top of the 9th inning in a big spot. That was a tie game. In the 9th inning, he laid down a bunt single, and now this time he does the same thing. That was mishandled by Young. Wouldn't be surprised if this turns into an error on the pitcher, Young. Still waiting for a ruling here in Bellingham, but it looks like it will be an E1. So won't be credited as a hit to Cade Galen, but his speed making an impact.
That'll bring up Alex Hamada in the 8-hole position. So 7, 8, 9 due up this inning. This one gets past the catcher Churchill, who just blasted that quote-unquote solo home run that went foul in the last inning. So Galen is over to second base. So Galen comes in to replace Vaughn Lowe, who came in for one at-bat with the bases loaded in the 5th, and he would eventually strike out. He replaced Rodrigo Montano. And Lowe is not a traditional outfielder, so the Fish Sticks pitching staff, or the Fish Sticks staff, excuse me, put in Cade Galen out to left field. Now he's at second base. And Hamada, who came in to pinch hit for Tyler Eisenhut, as we've seen so often this season, is up to the plate for the first time.
And if you're able to have the bottom of the order get on base here, that gives your big bats like a Ryland Gullard or an Ian Draper a chance to drive him in and get the Fish Sticks back within striking distance in this game.
It's a 10-4 deficit here in the top of the 8th. The leadoff man, Cade Galen, has a lot of speed. He's at second base with nobody gone. It's a 2-1 count to Alex Hamada, who takes the plate the first time today. Cal Young flings in an off-speed pitch right over the heart of the plate, and it is a 2-2 count.
It's just been so fastball heavy for Young before that. I don't think Hamada was ready to go after that off-speed quite yet. That's a good pitch from Young as well.
2-2 count now to Alex Hamada. Galen dancing over at second base. Hamada swings and misses at strike 3. So Cal Young comes back after making an error on that bunt to Cade Galen and sits down Hamada swinging.
That'll bring up Isaac Watson. Watson already with a 2-run single in this game. That was the last runs for the Fish Sticks, and this has been one of the only guys to deliver with runners in scoring position today for the Sticks.
Watson at the bottom of the order. He takes a look at ball 1. He has been heating up as of late. A 2-run home run in his last game at the Friar against the Northwest Honkers. And as you mentioned, a 2-run single already in this game.
Young's fastball is touching lower 90s as well, so probably the fastest stuff the Fish Sticks have seen in a few games.
Watson ahead 2-0 with 1 out and Cade Galen at second base. Young takes a look at Galen and fires into Watson, who takes a hack on 2-0 and fouls it back.
I like that swing, though. That's fastball that's basically right down the pipe. And Watson has punished that pitch before. He's got a homer on the year to his pull side.
So 2-1 count with 1 gone here in the top of the 8th inning. Swing and a miss from Watson for strike 2. So a 10-4 lead for the Bells. They played it 6 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. That is the difference right now. The Sticks have 11 hits on 4 runs in this game, but have not been able to capitalize with runners in scoring position. Here's the 2-2 on the outside half. A good leave from Isaac Watson, and the count will fill up.
Ooh, that takes some courage to leave that in a 2-strike count. We've seen a few batters, both sides, get rung up on that exact pitch, but Watson leaves it be, and it did miss outside for ball 3.
Payoff pitch incoming from Cal Young to Isaac Watson. Young protecting a 10-4 lead for the Bells. And that's outside for ball 4. And that gets past the catcher, Matt Churchill. And now it is first and third with 1 gone. So a little bit of trouble brewing right now for Cal Young. Bats to the top of the order in Ian Draper.
Draper's grounded into a couple double plays, so You got to think he's looking to put anything in the air right here and at least bring home Cade Galen. A lot of fly balls into the outfield, unless they're very shallow, are going to score Cade Galen. He might be the fastest guy on the entire Fish Sticks roster.
Draper blasted a 2-run home run in last night's win over the lefties. He's 2 for 4 today. He takes a look at strike one. He had a double on a hanging off speed back in the 6th inning. Would get stranded at second base and then walked and stole a base back in the 1st. Stick of the game yesterday, looking to put on a couple of runs, and that one's fouled back for strike 2. Obviously a long road ahead for the Sticks if they want to come back in this one, but this is a big opportunity with runners on 1st and 3rd and 1 gone for as hot of a bat like Draper.
Feels like a must-have in a sense.
0-2 count. Watson at first, Cade Galen at 3rd for the Fish Sticks. Young delivers. That one's low for ball 1. 1-2 count now to Ian Draper.
Draper heading to Portland. We saw this connection a lot in Port Angeles yesterday where Ian Draper drove in Cade Galen from the base paths. The 2 UP guys.
1-2 count. That one's outside for ball 2. I believe that Draper is the burger batter here in Bellingham as fans chant burgers at Ian Draper unless there's just a collection of people that love cheeseburgers, which is honestly pretty fair.
Good for them,
Yeah.
if so.
Here's the 2-2. Off speed is upstairs for ball 3.
Draper making the people here in Bellingham work for the burgers right now. Fell behind 0-2, but 3 balls and a foul off in there as well. A walk would load the bases for Ryland Gullard, who obviously has some pop in his bat. So a walk in 1 swing changes this game entirely.
Watson takes off. That one is low and inside for ball 4. The second walk today for Ian Draper, and suddenly things are interesting here in Bellingham. It is a 10-4 deficit for the Fish Sticks, but there is 1 gone, and the bases are loaded for Ryland Gullard. We've seen him go yard twice this season. 1 swing of the bat, and this gets real interesting.
And Gullard he's just been the guy for this Fish Sticks team all year.
Young delivers. That's a fastball on the outside part of the zone for strike 1. Gullard tonight, a walk back in the 1st, a single in the 3rd. He struck out looking back in the 5th. Young comes set, delivers off speed up the middle. It gets through. Peschke will step on second and get the double play at 1st. The Bells are out of it. That is a big-time play by Peschke, the shortstop. And Gullard grounds into a double play to end the inning. It is a 10-4 deficit going to the bottom of the 8th. The Bells leading the Fish Sticks.
You ever wonder how Crispy gets to the fryer for games? He uses King County Metro's Rapid Ride H-Line. King County Metro, the official commute of your DubSea Fish Sticks.
Once upon a home in the Issaquah Highlands, the Parkers used Thumbtack for a new kitchen island. Now the pizza is cooking and the kids are excited. Thank goodness for Thumbtack and all it provided. Start your home story on Thumbtack.
Sweet Caroline ringing out on the speakers here at Joe Martin Field in Bellingham, about as far northwest in the United States as you can get. We are about 30 minutes from the Canadian border up here, way north of Seattle. It is a 10-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells going into the bottom of the 8th. They're looking to tack on some insurance runs and surely try to put this game away for the Fish Sticks. Jaden Palacios is now on the mound for the Sticks, but man, that inning-ending double play by Rylan Gullard in the top of the 8th is a killer.
It took the air out of us. I think it took the air out of the Fish Sticks dugout a little bit as well. And on a night where 4 innings now have ended in double plays for the Fish Sticks, it just hurts to see another one end like that, especially with the bases loaded, 1 down. You've got a hitter like Rylan Gullard up, who has just been so good all year, and it's the same movie for the Fish Sticks to end the inning. So many runners on today and haven't delivered, but the Bells have, and that's why they lead this one 10-4. The scoreboard does not translate how close this game has been. This is not a 6-run game right now. Part of which is because it should be a 5-run game because there was a foul ball that turned into a home run.
That was last inning in the bottom of the 7th. That was Matt Churchill who hit a solo shot. It was down the third base line and did tail foul, but they called it fair. And it was a solo home run off of Hawthorne Moody, who would come back and retire the next 3 batters. So Palacios is in, another late addition for this Fish Sticks team, and he's looking to shut down the Bells and give the Fish Sticks some light in the top of the 9th. And Dylan Moss fouls that back. It is a 1-1 count. It's been an interesting game for Moss, who is an incoming freshman going to Stanford. He's the DH. He struck out looking his first 2 times up, struck out swinging back in the 5th, and then let a ball that looks like it was a strike on the outside corner go for ball 4 back in the 6th. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2 count.
Uy, that's a big cut right there from Moss. Maybe just looking to put something in play right now. We haven't seen anything in between the foul lines from Moss all day.
Palacios, I think he's having trouble. Yeah, he's going to step off. He says he can't see the fingers that are being put down by Jake Daly behind the dish to try to relay the pitch call. He's got it now.
Oh, now they're going to get him with a pitch clock violation. So, weird thing that we've seen in West Coast League games where a pitch clock not posted in the stadium, but clearly the umps have a mental count, and we saw it a couple times in Port Angeles yesterday, and it comes up in Bellingham.
2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice looking off speed from Palacios to sit down Dylan Moss for the 4th time today.
Sombrero for Dylan Moss today, just on a night where a lot of guys in the Bells lineup have really had amazing days at the plate. Moss is not one of them.
That'll bring up Tyler Peschke, the UCLA Bruin. He has had a sensational day in the field. He has turned 4 double plays today, including an unassisted one. Or I guess it was assisted eventually, but he took a ball up the middle from Rylan Gullard in a bases-loaded 1-out situation. He took it, stepped on second, and then fired to first base to end the inning and kill any momentum for the Fish Sticks in this game. That off speed is down low for ball 2. He's also had a decent day at the plate as well. He has a 2-run single back in the 3rd inning. He would eventually come around to score. 10-4 deficit for the Sticks. Jaden Palacios fires in ball 3 to Peschke here in the bottom of the 8th.
No reason for Peschke to go after anything right here and just get a runner on, which is the Bells formula tonight. Get runners on.
3-0 swinging and hit hard out to center field. Gullard's going back. He's all the way at the track, and he makes the grab. So, man, that was out to the deepest part of center field over next to the 370 sign. Peschke is retired, and I just noticed something. The flagpole out there in center field is actually
it's in the field.
A part of the field. It is matted off there. So if Rylan Gullard was going to run into it, I guess he would have some padding. But the flagpole is in center field. I have never seen that before.
Oy.
It's like football back in the 20s or something.
Yeah.
with the field goals posts just like in the end zone.
Well, what I always think of is the Hill in Houston at the Juice Box Minute Maid. Before, I think it was before the Astros joined the AL West with the Mariners, but they had the Hill and the light post was like in fair play, and it was like 430, 435 or something out to center field. Or like the monuments used to be in play at Yankee Stadium. You know, it's just a weird quirk like that on center.
Romanik Kebon, the 5th member of our first team all-name team, is behind 1-2. It is a 10-4 ball game, and Rylan Gullard, he was kind of looking back at the pole, and that's when I saw there is no way. Yep, that flagpole is inside the fence in center field. That has got to be a danger hazard. Palacios delivers the 1-2. It's just high for ball 2.
Betcha the home plate ump couldn't tell which side of the flagpole a ball would go on. Even though he's got a perfect shot of it, he would get confused. He'd probably say a ball that went to the right of it would go to the left of it.
Matt Churchill's solo home run back in the 7th should not have counted. Oh my goodness. Palacios narrowly avoids getting drilled in the face by that line drive up the middle by Kebon. My goodness, he's going to take a breather. Oof. He dove out. That was close. He dove out of the way last second. He is fighting that one off. And, man, that was nanometers from hitting him in the head. That would have been a super scary situation. But Kebon is aboard with 2 gone.
Ooh, that one puts a little life into you. And Palacios, I mean, it's got to be tough to bounce back and just have to pitch to a guy like Rashad Hayes now. Hayes 2 for 5 on the evening.
Hayes has a double to right field, has hit it twice there since. As Kebon takes off, Daly couldn't corral the pitch, so that'll be a free base for Romanik Kebon. But Hayes has belted 2 hard-hit balls to right field since that double, but right at Riley Sonoy both times. He's got a ton of speed, does the sophomore over at Stanford. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's a runner on second base and a 1-0 count. Now 1-1 after that fastball catches the corner. It's a 10-4 lead for the Bellingham Bells, protecting their home turf up here in Bellingham. The sun is now almost completely set. We can see fragments of the sunset out there past the right field line. This one's grounded to short. Should be the end of the inning. Draper fires over to first, and it is. So to the top of the 9th we go. It is a last gasp opportunity for the DubSea Fish Sticks. They've got to make up 6 runs in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, they've been getting runners on really well, but at some point it's become too little too late, and just a lot of runners left on today for the Fish Sticks. 4 inning-ending double plays, I think, is the number that really sticks out to me today. 8 runners left on base, and that doesn't even count the 4 runners that were retired on the double plays. So you got to think about, there were 4 runners on that ended up being outs. That's basically like leaving 12 runners on in 8 innings. So they've had plentiful amount of opportunities. They just haven't been able to come through. And again, this should not be a 6-run game. The Fish Sticks have felt in it the whole way. It's just that the Bells have been able to have some more timely hits way more often, and that's how they find themselves up 6.
So Gavin Hashey, who has thrown 7 innings of scoreless work this summer, is now on the mound for the Bells, who are trying to close this thing off and take their 23rd victory of the summer. Hashey, a senior at Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Islanders.
Yeah.
Give me the conference.
Oh, God. I couldn't tell you.
Southland.
Oh, okay. Well, I've heard the Southland.
At least for basketball, it's in the Southland.
Okay.
I don't know if baseball it's the same way, but
I don't know how you know all these conferences. Just an ESPN Plus warrior.
yeah, no one uses ESPN Plus Minus Divide Ultra like me, man. I keep them on the shelves.
Do you watch Texas A&M Corpus Christi late night basketball games this year?
Well, they were never really the late night game because they're in Texas and I'm
right.
in Arizona. So not really late night. I didn't really catch too much of them this year, I'll be honest.
I'm ashamed.
I watched a lot of UT Rio Grande Valley, though. That was a fun game. Right down the road.
Obviously. UTRGV.
Yes.
great
The
hoops.
Vaqueros.
Yeah. I actually commentated a Gonzaga volleyball game against them last year.
Against UTRGV. What
Yeah.
in the world were they doing in Spokane?
I don't know. Riley Sonoy grounds this over to first. He can't beat it out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Gavin Hashi here in the top of the 9th. And just 2 outs remaining for the Sticks to try to make up 6 runs as Jake Daly steps to the plate.
And this is quite the guy to put in to really slam the door if you're the Bells. Again, 7 scoreless innings coming into this outing. And 6-run game, pretty comfortable lead for Bellingham, but they are not going to be taking any chances tonight.
And 2 pitches and likely 2 outs as Daly pops this up to second base. KG Hattori has it. 4 out, number 2. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Hashi, and now Braden Bartholomew represents the last gasp for the Fish Sticks, trailing 10-4 here in the top of the 9th.
Bartholomew likes going after the first pitch as much as anyone, but you're on a 3-pitch inning here in the 9th. You got to let one go, right? Are you letting the first pitch go if it's right down the middle on a 3-pitch inning?
Well, Braden Bartholomew, he leads the team in home runs. He does let the pitch go. It was a ball. We've seen a lot of comebacks from the Fish Sticks this year. This would top them all. Down 6 runs with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. And nobody on base. As Bartholomew takes a look at strike 1. It's 1-1 count now against Gavin Hashi.
Bartholomew, a couple hard hit line drive base hits in this game, and 2 for 4. A lot of multi-hit games for him this year.
As she delivers, this one's fouled off over to Beckett Turnbow. Nice catch by Finn Still in the dugout. Beckett Turnbow coming in to pinch hit if Bartholomew were to reach. 1 strike away are the Bellingham Bells from defeating the Fish Sticks up north here in Bellingham. It's a 10-4 lead. 1-2 out to center field, and Bo Schinkel is going to get under it and snag it for the 27th and final out of the game. So the Bellingham Bells at the top of the West Coast lead for a reason. They prove it here tonight against the DubSea Fish Sticks, and they take a 10-4 victory here in Bellingham.
Yeah, just too many missed opportunities for the Fish Sticks. You can't afford those against a team as good as the Bellingham Bells are. Again, 22-14 in West Coast League play. This is a team that's going to contend for another championship after winning the league last year, and it was kind of just a prove-it game for them against the PIL's Fish Sticks, and they do just that, 10-4. Pretty decisive win. I don't think it should have been a 6-run game. The Fish Sticks were in it the whole way. A lot of traffic on the base pass for DubSea, but in the end, the Bells just delivered in those high-leverage situations, and the Fish Sticks just couldn't make those happen today.
So 2 runs in the top of the first inning. The Fish Sticks took a quick 2-0 lead, but then the Bells plated 1 in the bottom half of the inning and then 6 in the bottom of the third, and they were running away from there. So a 10-4 victory here tonight, and now the Fish Sticks are 1-1 in their West Coast League play stretch here. That was a bad way to say it, but they faced 3 straight West Coast League opponents. They beat the Port Angeles Lefties last night 5-1. They drop one here against the Bells 10-4, and then going back to the Friar tomorrow, they will face off against the Marion Berries for the 3rd time this season, and the first time that the Fish Sticks will host a West Coast League opponent tomorrow.
This is probably the game out of the entire calendar that I am anticipating the most for the Fish Sticks. Funny enough, it's a non-league game, which you wouldn't expect, but first West Coast League team to come into the Friar. The Fish Sticks and the Berries split the 2-gamer down in Salem, and they were both close games. They were both competitive games the whole way through. So I think we're in for a doozy tomorrow. It's $3 Thursday. It's going to be probably a pretty raucous environment in the Friar. We'd love to have you come out, but if you can't, you can watch it right here on the Fish Sticks Network.
So a 3-game road trip in 3 days for the DubSea Fish Sticks. It's a 6-5 loss, a walk-off hit from the Everett Merchants on Monday, and then a 5-1 victory yesterday, and then finally a 10-4 loss here against the Bellingham Bells. We will see you tomorrow on the Fish Sticks Network, or we'll see you at the stadium. A 3-game homestand coming from Thursday to Saturday at the Friar this weekend. as the Fish Sticks will try to overcome a 1-2 3-game stand on the road to begin this week. A 10-4 loss here in Bellingham. And for Angus Trengmo, I am Kyle Sweeney saying so long for now. We will see you tomorrow night.